Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you're well. Happy Redemption Thursday. Wagers forthcoming. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things. Can't be helped. So we make it easy on you. Go to iTunes. The show will be there waiting on you upon the conclusion of the program today. It'll also be on our website and on the free WTSM app. Lots of ways to find this here show. You can email us if you want, jcs@979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's @JCameronShow. You can YouTube the program. Hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. You'll find us, and Periscope it by following @979 ESPN Radio. Great football game tonight, huh? Looking forward to Dallas and New Orleans. I have a suspicion that's going to be a very good football game. But first, we start with the good news. That is Florida State with a comeback victory at home. Choo-choo! That'll work. Noles are playing an awfully lofty schedule. What are we, 6-1, 7-1 now? I should probably know our record, but all the wins kind of run together. 6-1. We've played nothing but ranked teams as of late. Purdue was 19 coming into the game. They've got a top 10 offense, and it showed in the second half. But Florida State was able to get the win there. I say this a lot. Tom and I kind of chuckle because my friends know that I bring it up every time they start to question the team. But heart of a lion, and they've got one. There's no doubt this team's got a whole lot of what for to it, and that's what happens when you play together and you're unselfish and you have a lot of experience. You don't get rattled. You don't get down on one another. You don't get panicky. You just understand that you play the next possession. And this team does that exceptionally well. They do lots of things that are basketball related that matter. And they have a lot of attributes that good teams have. But when you're just looking at them collectively, you can run in cliches here a little bit because it's true. They're the kind of team that really does give others problems based on their collective knowledge and their willingness to share and be unselfish and not care who gets the credit. I like this team, and one of the reasons I really like them is that they're only going to get better, too. So last year it was a great run to the Elite Eight, which made up for a middling regular season. But that's the second of back-to-back years now of going beyond the first round of the NCAA tournament and going back to the NCAA tournament. This will be the third. They'll go back to the NCAA tournament. And Leonard knows he's got the kind of team that can do damage if he can get a handle on what they are and figure out everybody's role. And you can hear him in his press conference last night. We'll play it for you here in a minute. He was great, really candid. I think he feels very, very comfortable with this group, meaning that they can handle messages through the media. They can handle being criticized. They can handle tough love. Old Tough Love Cameron would do well with a team like this because they can handle it, and they respond the right way. And he's got guys that, listen, there's a willingness to sacrifice, and that, if you think about that, that's what defense is, right? You got to move your feet. You got to care. Defense is hard, man. Really hard to play defense. You have to want to. And last year, the spark, whatever it was, the match was lit. Something happened once that NCAA tournament got started. They figured it out. We got lucky just in the nick of time, right? Like, we got to defend. Okay. And they started to do that. Last night, Purdue scored 72 points. It was a 73-possession game. That offense, the number 6 rated offense in the country, scored fewer than a point per possession for the first time this season. And Leonard was still critical of the defense. And guess what? That'll get a huge shot in the arm when Phil Kofer comes back because he can guard everything. So they're only going to get better. And in the interim, they're beating a bunch of ranked teams. And they've been challenged in a lot of ways. So the mental fortitude of this team is really good. And it's going to be important because you play in the toughest league in America. You have a top 25 schedule currently. You have, last year this was a scheduled non-conference. It was in the 300s. So you're being tested now while you're still forming, while you're still figuring out what everybody's role is, some of the newcomers, how many minutes, what's the rotation. All this stuff is what you do in the non-conference, and hopefully you win enough games while you're figuring all that out before you get into ACC play. Well, Florida State has, and they've done it against really quality clubs. if you think about this Purdue team's going to make the tournament, this Purdue team's very, very good. You just lost to Villanova, last year's national champion. Prior to that, you beat a ranked LSU team who I think we both agree is a pretty good basketball team. So, this is it's important, and it's a lot of fun to go on the journey when you think that there's better stuff at the end. Now, again, one problem with the NCAA tournament is that it is very fickle. See Virginia losing in the first round last year as a 1 seed. These things happen. Good teams get beat. Great teams who have great years go to the tournament, get beat. I hate that it is so reliant, our perception of what a good season is, on a postseason tournament. When you fall in love with a regular season team, when you fall in love with a group that every night you want to watch play, you end up caring so much for them and the quality of the wins and the season they're putting together. But you do realize it's all building up to that one thing, that NCAA tournament. And I can go along for the ride and appreciate the journey and take value of it, but most people don't. And I would warn against that. I would say enjoy this, because this is a group that plays the game, for lack of a better way of describing it, and it's not. I mean, it's cliche as it gets, but they play the game the right way. They got to cut down on their turnovers. When they cut down on these turnovers, Tom, I think then you begin to see this team really emerge and become a better offensive unit than they've been up to this point. They turned it over on over 20% of their possessions last night. Again, we got to stop doing that. But other than that, I really like this team.
Well, I'm not sure how good Purdue, LSU, Villanova, and Florida are. Like, I don't know how good.
Florida's 4-3.
I know Florida's 4-3, but I'm sure they'll get it together because they have enough blue chip star power.
Nothing but blue chippers.
We're going against a lot of good players, though. There's a lot of good players. You look at Edwards last night, or the kid, the dribbling machine from Villanova over the weekend. LSU had a couple of really good players.
4 was really good.
How about Carson Edwards last night? Obviously in the second half. Or I'm sorry, not him. Ryan Klein in the second half. And then, of course, Florida has a stud, everything point guard that's only going to be broken into, what he can do once you get into SEC play. So we've seen a lot of good players. But as for last night, sometimes a game, it has one theme, and it's the same theme from the tip to the final whistle or the final buzzer. And last night, it was a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, this was a really multi-chapter fight that lasted every bit of 2.5 hours. And if you think about it, go back to that first half, which you'll forget about because of the second half was just so compelling by itself.
We took Purdue out of everything they wanted to do.
We took them out of what they wanted to do, yes, but we were pretty sloppy for the first 8 to 10 minutes of this game. And then you look up, stretch run first half, and we're up 14 points, 14 points, whatever it is. I think it got as big as 16.
Well, we went on a 27-11 run.
Right, but it wasn't – the funny thing is it wasn't even all explosive. It was just good defense and then workmanlike offense, a couple of and-ones. You get a couple of buckets from Nichols, which was nice to see. Vassell hits a 3 from the corner. But it wasn't like a razzle-dazzle Dwayne Bacon, Jonathan Isaac type performance. It's just what's really cool about this team is you look up on the scoreboard and what was once a 2 or 4 point lead can be 12 in a heartbeat, and you don't really see how they do it. Remember the way we started against Louisville in the 2016 season, 2015-2016, and it was like a 15-0 run before we go to line 2.
Oh,
everybody
was
can
going
see
berserk.
that.
Yeah.
We don't go on explosive runs like that. It's much more workmanlike. But then the second half, a 12-point halftime lead is immediately turned to an 8-point Purdue advantage at one point because they can't stop making threes and every block charge call goes against us. So this game had complete huge swings in momentum. And then, of course, we finished the game on a 9-0 run to win it, holding Purdue scoreless in the last 3.5 minutes where they missed some free throws and some wide open looks along the way. But it had a little bit of everything last night, the way it went.
It's a thing of beauty, man. I love this team. They can play it the way you want to play it. They can beat you any way you want to play. And listen, it's a regular season game in the non-conference. Purdue's gone to the NCAA tournament 10 of the last 12 years. They're going back this year. They're a good team. And they're well coached, and they make plays. You watch them, they're really good. And we found a way, not playing our best, to beat them on a night where they couldn't miss from the parking lot in the second half. So again, if you think about that, if you're a Purdue fan, look at it from the other side.
Yeah.
If you're a Purdue fan and ardent basketball supporter of Purdue and Matt Painter, you're kind of pissed because, good Lord, I mean, you go on a 26-7 run. You're up by 7. You're hitting everything under the sun. You're getting calls. You're doing everything. At the end of the game, you look up and you lose that game by a point. You go, what the hell?
Yeah, how?
How did we lose? because Florida State is good in a lot of ways. Florida State is also patient. Florida State also doesn't get rattled. This group does not get rattled. This group's the antithesis of our soft-ass football team. This group is the opposite of that. They're tough. The football team got down 7-0, 10-0, 13-6 or something like that and went, oh, it's over. We're screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, we roughed a kicker on a field goal attempt. It's over now. No, not this group. This group gets down 8, gets down 5, gets down 4 with a minute to play. This happens a lot. And they go, oh, it's all right. We'll be okay. Keep playing.
Well, there's a lot of heroes at different points in the second half when you're looking for somebody. And that was the thing last night. You're laughing at how long this game goes before we get a double-digit score. Everybody's at 9 or 7 points. Mm-hmm. And then you get MJ Walker, who hits a big 3, and then he gets fouled, goes to the line, hits 2 or 3 free throws. He was the one last night before Forrest ultimately has the moment we'll all remember, who stepped up in those moments. And I think that what we're doing right now is, as a coaching staff, they're looking for the rotation. You know, when we have to go 6 or 7 and Cover's in the rotation, who are those first couple of guys going to be? Who are those candidates going to be? Kabengele clearly is going to come off the bench for Kumaje. That's going to be the system we run. But for how many minutes? What's the minute disparity going to be between those two guys when we're running at peak? Where does Polite fit in? Where does Vassell fit in? Or, I mean, am I wrong? Are we going to go to 8 or 9? Are we going to push it towards 10? You can see that we do have options, but the coaching staff is trying to figure that out. And I think the group, when push comes to shove, is also trying to figure out amongst themselves, all right, whose ball is it in crunch time? Of course, Forrest got it on the final possession, but what about Terrence Mann? What about MJ Walker? Will it be their time in certain moments?
A lot of time to figure that out, right?
PJ Savoy was asking for it a bunch last night, and he missed everything in the second half. I think he hit one mid-range jumper. He turned down a 3, took a baseline mid-range jumper, hit it, and then beyond that, how many big shots did he miss down the stretch? If he ever gets hot, we win this thing going away.
He'll get hot. He'll get hot. You know, it's 7 games into the season. Excuse me. He'll get hot. They'll figure it out. Listen, last night, let's be honest, you need a little luck to dominate at home the way that Florida State has over the series of years that they win all these big games at the TLC-CC. Remember yesterday's show, the final hour, we turned it over to Tallahassee Game Day Court Report and enjoyed doing that. But I kept talking about Carson Edwards. We talked about the depth of their lineup, the talent, the amount of guys play with length and ability to score. But one of the things I brought up about Edwards was that, unfortunately, not only is he streaky and can really knock down a lot of shots from way out if he gets hot and starts feeling it, but he's also quick and gets to the free throw line. And in getting to the free throw line, he shoots 92%. Well, basketball is a funny game because there he went to the free throw line and had an opportunity with 1:18 left to put them up more, and he missed both of those free throws. And how do you predict that? It's a crazy game.
No, it is a crazy game, and 2 sequences of free throws that were just wild. One was Kumaje, where I thought he got away with steps under the rim, but they called a reach in, and so we're going to the line for a 1-and-1 with Kumaje, who's basically a 1-for-2 shooter. Mm-hmm. He hits both, and while waiting for the second one, Teddy Valentine decides to watch the basketball.
That ball, man. He decides he wants to make love to the basketball.
Like
he
was cleaning a baby's butt or something like that. He's looking at this and he's just wiping it down.
Basketball is what Teddy said.
It's a second halftime we had there before Kumaje takes his second free throw and he hits it. But then Edwards on the other side, after he misses his first, you have it's not a lane violation, but a teammate jumps up and crams it, thinking it's a 1-and-1 situation, and the refs are laughing. They're going, "Hang on!" And he looked a little shaken by that.
Yeah,
but he misses 2 critical free throws. The funny thing about it is, I bet you if he hits both, I think we still tie the ball game. That's who we are.
That is who we are. Yeah, it reminds me of Buster Posey, and they're the basketball version of Buster Posey. It's like, well, I'll take a hit here. I understand a double would score a run, but this late time, we really need this ball to go yard. Ting! Thank you, Buster. You understood the circumstance. Always that guy. Well, just need a hit here. There's a little slappy single to the right. Okay, thanks, Buster. That's us.
The cool thing about last night, it's November in Tallahassee, and that place is raucous. And it had all the ingredients. It had a bit of a sleepy start, but then we pull away at the end of the first half, so people are charged up. You give away a big lead. They hit a bunch of shots. A lot of calls, 50-50 calls.
Go against us.
I mean, it's like the coin just keeps coming up tails, time after time after time.
Except for really, really late.
Except for late. Yes, you do get a couple of decisions there. But the crowd, all I'm saying in the element of how the game progressed, now the crowd's mad at the refs, and they're mad that we're blowing the lead. And as we come back, they're charged up, and they have all of this energy. So
they've been boozing it up, Tom.
Right. The people on the sidelines who are usually sleepy, now they're loud, in addition to the students who turned out, and they were great again. That was a real atmosphere.
We have it a lot these days because we win all the time. I'm talking about if you go to the TLCCC, you're likely to walk out of there happy. You saw a win. Almost every single time you go, you see a win, period. That's not up for debate. That's not this guy loves Ham too much. No, we win the games when we play at the TLCCC, period. That's what happens.
I think I saw it was Tim Lenefeld's note. We haven't lost a non-conference home basketball game since Northeastern in 2014.
Sweet Jesus.
2014.
Sweet Jesus. It's unbelievable. By the way, that Klein pass at the end was pathetic. I was thinking to myself, what happens to people at the end of these games? I understand it's pressure-packed, but that lazy pass.
He panicked, yeah.
Oh, same exact thing happened in the Virginia Tech game against Penn State. You see that pass? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
what are you doing?
We had our moment. Forrest, I don't know what he's doing when we're rushing up the court.
Yeah,
he's got two guys to his left.
Yeah.
You just keep going.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, we won the game again, like we usually do. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Golick and Wingo, and we're giving you and a friend the ultimate college football experience at the 2019 College Football Playoff National Championship Game.
We're taking care of airfare, hotel, tickets, donuts.
Are donuts really included?
Nah, but it sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
The Golick and Wingo College Football Playoff Contest. Earn your shot to attend the 2019 College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Tune in to Golick and Wingo from now through December 5th for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. For official contest rules, go to ESPNRadio.com.
97.9 ESPN Radio congratulates the Chairs Eagles Pop Warner football team on making the Pop Warner Super Bowl. Set to start December 2nd at Disney's Wide World of Sports in Orlando. The Eagles could use your help. With on-field success comes expenses for travel and meals for additional games. If you can offer support, head to 97.9 ESPN Radio's Facebook page or check out at 979 ESPN Radio's pinned tweet, which includes a link to a GoFundMe campaign for the Eagles. Any help is greatly appreciated. And best of luck to the Chairs Eagles in Orlando.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football, brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Stay ahead of the game. Find an agent at farmers.com. A great primetime match coming up as the Dallas Cowboys host the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees and the Saints march in with a 10-game winning streak and great play on both sides of the ball. But Brees said this week that the Cowboys have won their last three will be a big challenge.
Obviously, they're hot. Last 3 weeks, defensively, they fly around. They're very well coached, very disciplined. They're taking the ball away. They're just doing all the things that great defenses do, getting pressure on the quarterback, good against the run. So really in every facet of what you would say is winning football, championship caliber football, these guys are doing it right now.
Ian Eagle and Tony Baselli will have the call with the Saints at the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee's sports monster.
Napa know-how. It's the biggest holiday sale ever at Napa. Like a Black Friday sale every day, with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Just $17.99. See, just like Black Friday, but nobody gets trampled. So don't miss Napa's biggest holiday sale ever. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/18.
It's time to find the one, the perfect Christmas tree, and you do that at the Home Depot, where you'll be surrounded by a wonder-inducing selection of fresh-cut trees and greenery. You'll find the one, and then the Home Depot will net it and load it in your car for you. Or, if you want one brought to your door, you can order your live tree online and it will be delivered free. Fresh-cut trees and greenery. This is how we owe Christmas tree. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Continental U.S. only. Selection and prices vary by store. See store for details. Imagine your dream carpet installed for free. The Home Depot offers all-inclusive installation on minimum purchases of $699. That's removal of your old carpet, basic furniture moving, and stairs, so the dream carpet you want comes at the price you were expecting. Free carpet installation that's actually free. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing. Valid only on showroom carpet price $1 or more per square foot. Specialty items may be priced separately. License numbers including CGC 1514813 and CRC 046858. Available at homedepot.com/license numbers.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Fire the cannons. Catch every Buccaneer game right here with me, Gene Deckeroff, on your home for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster.
Aaron's Gifts of Greatness event means you can bring home truly great gifts for your family. Because all you need is just $1 to get started leasing to own with deals on great brands like Philips, LG, and Samsung. With no credit needed and free delivery and setup. Plus, you can enter for a chance to win a home makeover shopping spree worth $10,000. This holiday, you can get started with just $1 from December 1st to the 16th at a participating store or aarons.com. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. No purchase necessary to enter. See rules for details.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Get to Leonard Hamilton's presser, excerpts from the presser in a moment. First, Redemption Thursday. Yes, I'm aware there are only 9 games selected. I actually had to force myself to find 9. The slate's getting weak. It's also limited, but Redemption Thursday wagers are up, and we got to pay up. So if you've been playing along with me and betting non-perishable food items, if you will, from week to week, and keeping a running ledger, remember, it's on the honor system here. If I'm beating you in the games that you've selected, buy the appropriate amount of food and drop it off at the shelter of your choice. Doesn't have to be a shelter, I don't think. It could be any number of places that certainly would have that need. You choose. Just make sure it's somewhere where, obviously, it would be appreciated and utilized. And I know what my games are and what my records are, too, so I will do the right thing, I promise you, and deliver as well. And so it's a good time this time of year to remind you of why we do that. We're not actually able to bet real money, so they forced me to do it this way. Because I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the bets.
They force you to do it for charity.
Bet. I'm going to make the bets. So we might as well do it for a good cause. Washington minus 5.5. It's against Utah. If you're wondering, that's a game where I don't know how Utah is going to score. Backup quarterback, backup running back. Washington plays good defense. I'll give the 5.5. Stanford minus 3 against Cal. Memphis plus 3.5 against UCF. On a side note, Memphis is going to beat UCF, just so you know. Memphis will win the game. So take the points, take the team, bet the game. There you go, Memphis. For canned goods, of course. Just saying. Fresno State plus 2.5 against Boise State. Northwestern plus 14.5 against Ohio State. Give me Northwestern. Yeah, I like that. The hook,
the
baby.
hook.
The hook,
yeah.
baby. The hook will get you. And then in the NFL, Indianapolis giving 4 to Jacksonville, who I think has quit. I'm betting on the quit there.
Man, what an interesting division that turned out to be. Thought it was going to be boring because
Colts are good.
It would be Jacksonville and everybody else kind of sucks.
Nope.
But Houston and Indianapolis are on a course, man. That's going to be some interesting football down the stretch.
Good stuff. Give me Indianapolis minus 4 against Jacksonville. Yeah, that's funny. If you're a Jacksonville fan, you thought, okay, well, we're going to cruise here, and now you're like, oh, no, we're the ones that suck.
Yeah, you're the only ones.
Yeah.
Like, Tennessee's like, okay.
Yeah. Tick, 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 with their quarterback. Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, that's right. We got to isolate that. Yep.
Atlanta minus 1.5 against Baltimore. Yeah, I'll take Atlanta. And the Bears -4 against the Giants, who now that they lost there in heartbreaking fashion, know that they are officially out of it. They've got no reason to play, and the Bears are good. Seattle -10 against Arizona. Same goes for that team because Seattle keeps winning games and putting themselves in a great position. And Arizona, well, Arizona's terrible. So I'll do it. I'll lay the big number. Crazy, those big numbers that you used to automatically take, right? The old rule in the NFL, not in college, but the old rule in the NFL was that anything double-digit, you just took the team that was getting the points because it's the NFL. The best team is not that much better than the worst team in the league, right? These are all guys that were their best players in college. They all have pride, and they'll play hard. And so anyhow, if you were getting 10 or more points, you just took it on merit and said, screw it. On principle, you did it, right? Across the board. You remained consistent, and you walked away a winner at the end of the year with every double-digit team you took. Not anymore. No, double-digit spreads are getting covered left and right over the last 3 years. The game's built around offense, and a lot of these numbers get crazy. And listen, Oakland couldn't cover 11, 12, 13, 14. You see this every week with them. So
I was looking at the schedules remaining for the AFC South teams because this is an interesting division.
It's a great division,
It just popped up out of nowhere. So Houston's remaining schedule, and of course they have a 2-game lead in the division. They got the Browns at home, the Colts at home, but that's 2 interesting home games back-to-back for them. Then they go visit the Jets, the Eagles. Who knows what Philadelphia is going to be a month from now? And then they host the Jags.
Not in it.
The final. Well, they might be. That division might be. Listen, if Dallas loses tonight, as Vegas expects them to do,
sure.
Well, then Philadelphia at least has some hope they can feed.
I guess they got receivers playing defensive back. I mean, it's they got some problems here, man. I don't think they're. I'm just saying. I
don't know that Dallas is that great.
Oh, I don't think you have to be great to win the division.
Right.
So nobody who comes out of there is going to do anything in the playoffs. I'm just saying that I think that's Dallas's division to win, regardless if they lose tonight. And by the way, I think they're going to be in tonight's game. I think it's a great game.
So Indy has, obviously they're at Jacksonville this weekend. Then they go to Houston, so big 2 weeks for the Colts. Then they play home to the Cowboys. So there's another good one.
Hell of a game.
They host the Giants, and they visit Tennessee. And then Tennessee, which is 5-6, and you're like, well, they're out of it, right, after this loss on Monday night? Not really, because they play the Jets, the Jags, they visit the Giants, they host the Redskins, and then they play the Colts.
Got it made.
Well, yeah, they should win at least 3 of those games and be in position to win 4 out of their final 5.
And they're not any good.
So they could snake a 9-7 out of this thing.
Saints, Cowboys, how about that, man? We got the game tonight. This is going to be fun. You got a top 10 defense going against that offense. It's crazy to watch and think about the stats on that. And I'm getting carried away with the NFL. Let's listen to Leonard Hamilton, shall we? This was Leonard after the game last night, and I think I don't want to say surprisingly candid, but you could tell the way he conducts himself in the press conference and the way in which he answers. These are 2 questions. The audio is from warchant.com. You're going to hear both back-to-back right now. And one of the things I like is that there's just such a candor because he can trust his team to handle the expectations that he has for them. They're not fragile. So here you go.
Not having a guy like Phil on the court who's a tremendous perimeter shooter and a guy who allows us to switch 1 through 5. We can play him at the 3, the 4, the 5. It challenges us, but it's given some of the other youngsters some opportunity to grow and develop. Raquan Gray, he's showing promise. Vassell's showing promise. Even though when I look at Anthony Polite, he doesn't have great stats, but I thought his effort and his defense was important, and the residual effect of quality of depth like that fatigues people, and you never know exactly how much that means to you down the stretch in the game when those guys are going in and really, really playing with tremendous amount of effort. They might not have great stats, but their contribution is valuable to you. This was their effort, running the floor, fighting hard, communicating. Those things are important to us. Now, as those guys gain more experience, David Nichols, he was huge tonight. His defense was good. He took charge when he went into the game. He moved the ball. He gave us great leadership, and he's growing up. So we still are in the development mode. I just hope we continue to keep growing, keep winning while we're still growing in development. I think we got a long ways to go offensively and defensively. We're still not quite where we need to be.
Through 7 games, is there anything that surprised you about this team, Coach?
I'm surprised that our defense is not a little better, to be very honest with you. And as much as we worked on our offense, for instance, the first half, I thought we moved the ball very, very well. I think we had something like maybe 125, 30 passes that we made. We were able to move the ball. The second half, we came back out. I thought the ball stuck a little bit, not from a selfish standpoint. We just didn't seem to have that same pop, that same movement. And against really good basketball teams, what's going to happen is what happened tonight. You got to be consistent with that. And I'm a little disappointed about that. And, right now it's not even – I can't start trying to evaluate where we are because I realistically, I just know we're still a work in progress. We just got hope. We're just thankful that we continue to keep winning one. We're still trying to bring it together. I'm still trying to figure out my rotation.
Well, and as he does, they keep winning basketball games against ranked teams.
So I have the question I'd like you to ask next time you have Coach Ham on, which is
soon,
frequently enough.
Yep.
So he knew that they had somewhere around 120, 125 passes in the first half. What does Florida State's basketball analytics department look like, and what reports does he get, and is he briefed with each half?
Well, they've changed their style of play based on analytics, and we all have kind of wondered, if you look at the way they score, certainly last year's team was this way, but if you looked at the way they scored by attacking the basket and shooting threes, they got to the free throw line, and you looked at, their points came from a very modern approach to basketball. And I wonder, Luke Lux works for Golden State. You just wonder who all.
Well, somebody's clearly, keeping tabs on stuff. I just wonder how many. Are they GAs? Are they paid assistants? And how does it work? Because if he knew that, he didn't pull that information out of his, what. So he knew at halftime that they were moving the ball very well. I don't think he wouldn't say 125. He'd say, we had 100 passes.
Yeah.
Over 100 passes.
Right.
So I just wonder how much of that goes into what we do at halftime and how we adjust at halftime. And then between games, obviously, you can crunch film and do all you want. But it's interesting that he gets a report on the fly as it's happening.
Whatever adjustments that were made at halftime to not cover the three-point line, we need to throw out the window.
Or the logo.
or
Osceola's head.
No, honestly, no, you're right. I mean, there were plenty of shots being made from the parking lot by Purdue in that second half. And again, that's not something – fans get mad about that. Look, if a guy's going to get hot and just start hitting shots from way the hell out, you just off the cap. It happens. It's frustrating. Listen, if it was so easy to stop that, Golden State wouldn't win as frequently as they do, prior to this season. But Steph's been out, and Steph, because he can hit from the parking lot, creates spacing nightmares for everybody, and so it is. But, you'd want to say when you're watching the game, well, just stop him from doing that. Well, dude's got a quick release and is shooting from just this side of half court. What do you want me to do?
Oh, well, when we're going well, Savoy does that. And,
there's nothing you can do.
That's all he does. It's not like he's going to head fake you and then
take you to
dribble
the
drive.
Right.
That's not his game.
Well, I need him to start making some. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. By the way, speaking of the Jeff Cameron Show, I misspoke earlier. I said Seattle -10 against Arizona. It's against San Francisco. I'm still taking the bet. Take Seattle and give the 10. San Francisco's got nothing to play for. They're in trouble. There you go. Now we're caught up.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Week 13 in the NFL starts with a big NFC matchup tonight in Texas. The 6-5 Cowboys hosting the 10-1 Saints. New Orleans clinches a playoff spot with a win tonight. Rams coach Sean McVay says today he expects cornerback Aqib Talib to play Sunday against the Lions. Talib has been out since week 4 with an ankle injury. Conference championship weekend in college football. In the SEC title game in Atlanta, it's number 1 Alabama and 4th-ranked Georgia. Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
When you're playing against a team who kind of runs things similar in a way as, how they run their defense, schematic-wise, I think it's definitely going to be tough. They're going to disguise their coverages. They're going to disguise their blitz. A lot of things are going to end up, playing factors into this game. But I think it's going to be a really exciting game. This is, like a rematch of the national championship all over. I think it's going to be fun, both sides of the ball. And we're looking forward to this new challenge that we're faced with.
Tua Tagovailoa on the Herb Street and Fitzsimmons podcast. Tennessee quarterback Will McBride announces on social media today that he'll transfer to another school In 2 years with the Volunteers, McBride played in only 2 games. Those came last year during his freshman season. Tennessee was 5-7 this season. Purdue coach Jeff Brom turned down a chance to coach at Louisville, his alma mater. ESPN's Chris Lowe reports Brom will get a better deal from Purdue now, though. A salary bump of $1.2 million, up to $5 million a year, including bonuses and incentives.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
The Golic Wingo College Football Playoff Contest. Earn your shot to attend the 2019 College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Tune in to Golic Wingo from now through December 5th for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. For official contest rules, go to espnradio.com.
The Donald L. Tucker Civic Center is awarding one lucky fan with tickets for an entire year with its Tickets to the Tuck giveaway, presented by POSS Medical Supplies. Grand prize is admission for 2 for every event at the Tuck in 2019. Go to tuckerciviccenter.com to enter. No purchase necessary. Good luck from the Tuck. See official rules for details.
Shop Lowe's and save on a Craftsman 81-piece mechanics tool set, now just $89.98. The set includes drive tools, sockets, an extension, and a 120-tooth ratchet with a 3-degree arc swing, making it easier to get into those hard-to-reach spaces. Plus, it's backed by a full lifetime warranty, so you can be sure the tool you need will be there when you need it. Get yours today at Lowe's, the new home of Craftsman. Valid through 12/5 while supplies last. See store for details, U.S. only.
Tasty Pastry Bakery congratulates the women's soccer team on making it to the Final Four this weekend. Tasty Pastry, celebrating over 50 years in Tally.
Aaron's Gifts of Greatness event means you can bring home truly great gifts for your family. Because all you need is just $1 to get started leasing to own with deals on great brands like Philips, LG, and Samsung. With no credit needed and free delivery and setup. Plus, you can enter for a chance to win a home makeover shopping spree worth $10,000. This holiday, you can get started with just $1 from December 1st to the 16th at a participating store or aarons.com. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. No purchase necessary to enter. See rules for details.
Seminole fans know barbecue, and Tallahassee's best southern barbecue is Willie Jewell's. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue on Thomasville Road. Smoked on site 24 hours a day. Cooked low and slow the old school way. And every meal is served with a side of southern hospitality. And take advantage of the barbecue tailgate special. Pork brisket, chicken ribs, turkey, and wings with all the fixings to make your tailgate the place to pregame. Let Willie Jewell's take the stress out of your next tailgate or event. Willie Jewell's, 5442 Thomasville Road. Go Knowles!
This is Golic and Wingo.
You can do it in the locker room, but you publicly made Hugh Jackson sound like a traitor by saying he wanted us to play for him and now he's coaching for Cincinnati. It's not how it worked. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yes.
The way you made it sound, you wanted to publicly make Hugh Jackson a traitor. You want to do that in the locker room? That's fine, man. Do your thing, whatever motivates you. But you publicly made that guy a traitor, and he's not.
Yeah.
He got fired for a team he was trying to coach, and he got a job somewhere else that happened to be in the division.
He didn't choose to leave.
No, he did not.
He was told to leave.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference between choosing to leave, a la Bobby Petrino halfway through the season for the Atlanta Falcons to go back to college football in Arkansas. That's choosing to leave.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson was told to leave.
Right.
There is a huge difference.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
for you, NFL. Good for you. Full week off for both these teams. It won't be a you-know-what show tonight. They should look sharp. They should look good. And I'm intrigued by it. Don't usually lead a segment, period, with the NFL unless it's the playoffs, usually. But I am today. That's a great primetime game because not only is it, I think, obviously the Cowboys' defense is very good and they've figured out the recipe here. They realized you can't rely on Dak Prescott to win games. He's okay, but he's infinitely better, as most quarterbacks are, when you have a really good running game. And Zeke is the man in Dallas. And when he's running and they give it to that guy 20, 25 times a game, they got a chance to win. But that is the recipe, right? Because the Saints, if they win out, are going to play at home throughout the playoffs. And in the Dome, you ain't beating the Saints. So you might be looking at the kinds of matchups here that they have, because if they have to take it on the road, say to play the Rams, whom they beat in that war, but that would be a road game outdoors, that kind of a thing. I mean, you got to get them off the fast track indoors. So tonight's a critical matchup. The Saints need to win. They need to keep winning in order to garner home field. And Dallas plays the kind of game, now that they've figured out their identity, which was the same as their old identity, which they should have already known, but they're not well coached. Run the ball, keep the ball out of Drew Brees' hands. I mean, you're watching, and I know that the statistics in the NFL are such that everybody scores now, just about, unless you're Jacksonville because you got Blake Bortles. But most people can score points these days. And so you're kind of immune to some of these big number games or these statistics. So you see somebody throw for 300 yards. It used to be a big damn deal. I'm old enough now that I've watched the eras shift to where when I remember as a kid, when we would watch the highlights and Cosell on Monday Night Football would do the fastest 2 minutes, and they would go through all the highlights. It was the only way you could see highlights, Tom. You didn't know what the Chargers looked like. Because you didn't see them. Grew up in Tampa Bay. They were on. Eric Coryell, those years they were on, but you know what I mean. And so, unless they were playing the Dolphins or something, you didn't see them. And I would watch those highlights, and it was a big deal if they told you that so-and-so threw for 305 yards. So you'd say, what, did you see so-and-so threw for 335 yards? What a day. Nobody says that now. And with Marino and those guys, they throw for 400 yards, and you'd be like, well, he is special. But lots of people throw for 400 yards now. I mean, literally, it's not all that crazy.
Yeah, 500 is now the number that you stop and go, 500 yards?
Nobody should ever throw for 500 yards against a professional defense. That's ridiculous. That's when the league has to say, we have gone wayward. That's like, okay, so I criticized both the LSU, Texas A&M ending and score and all that, just like I did the Monday Night Football game with the Chiefs and all the points there. That's just not good for the league. You're watching arena football at that point. I got to be allowed to play defense. Listen, these are skilled quarterbacks make throws now on the regular that are very different from what you saw in the 60s and 70s and even 80s, right? These guys are so accurate, and I know this is a talking point all the time, but the rules are also in their favor to a point where Drew Brees is completing 76% of his passes. That's not his career. That's this year. That's absurd. He's got 29 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards. And in the midst of all of that, he's completing 76% of his passes. That's absurd, and it's too easy. He's great, Hall of Fame great, Tom. But it shouldn't be that easy. That's nuts.
I agree. However, if you go back and you look at his career numbers, he had 70.6% completion percentage in 2009.
Oh, no, he's an accurate passer.
71.2 in 2011. Last year, he had 72%. The year before that, 70%.
Oh, the modern era of football is, and you'd say the last 5 to 6 years, they've made all of these rules changes, but he's always been a very accurate passer.
This dude, but he is just an absolute freak who we don't ever talk about him on the front page of the conversation of the great quarterbacks of the era, and he is now demanding, and he's been doing this
for a long time.
We're going to close in on 20 years here soon that he's been doing crazy things. And if you look at it, the most amazing number to me is in 2009, which the league wasn't that way yet. It wasn't the way it is now.
Not quite, yeah.
Back then. All right, so he completes, what did I say, 70.6% of his passes.
Mm-hmm.
his air yards per attempt were 8.9. He's getting the ball down the field.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not a dinker dunker. No, he throws the ball down the damn field.
It was 4,300 yards that year, and he completed 70%. I mean, this dude is just a freak. Now you put him in an era, it's almost like steroids to get him to the 76, but he's already not afraid to complete 66 to 68% of his passes at minimum, with good years being in the 70s before the league had the rules shift this way.
The thing that's overlooked currently about the Saints is how good their defense is, because that's not something that we would talk about in a year which Drew Brees is doing what he's doing and the Saints are scoring the way that they're scoring. But the Saints defense hasn't given up a 100-yard rusher since week 11 of 2017. Teams just don't run the ball real well against them. Part of that is skewed because teams are frequently down by a lot of points because of Drew Brees. But I would also say this. They're number one in fewest giveaways, Tom. They have the fewest sacks allowed, so he gets the ball out of his hands. They block well, obviously. Their fourth down conversion rate is the best in the league. Yep. They're number 3 in the red zone for touchdown percentage. They're number 1 in total yardage, and yards are a good way to judge what an offense is. Usually they lead to points, not always, but if you consistently put up yards, you're doing something right. So there you go. I mean, every statistical category, they're really good. They're the best team in football right now.
So, last year was the least amount of yards he's ever thrown for in a Saints uniform, and he threw for 4,334 yards. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it used to be a big deal to throw for 4,000 yards. Not anymore.
But the thing I like about this is even though New Orleans is the prohibitive favorite, and if they get home field and they're playing in the Dome, they are the favorite moving forward, there's still a ton of checks and balances across the league. I mean, if you think about both playoff races, now, usually there's one year. Like the NFC for a lot of years has been one that churns out a bunch of different teams.
Yeah.
But then here's New England or Pittsburgh. And it's just like, you just set it, forget it. Peyton would drop in on the party every once in a while. But by and large, it was, one of those 3 quarterbacks that would be the AFC representative. But if you look at the AFC this year, I mean, New England is a favorite, but they're not the favorite.
Well, they're 8-3. They don't play all that well on the road. Tom Brady didn't play well on the road. I mean, it's interesting. So they don't look like a dominant team. Of course, they'll be right there at the end. I mean, what will they be? 12-4 at worst.
But Houston's dangerous. They might have a better record than New England. So if they face each other in the bracket, then you would have to go down there, play indoors against that defense. That's no sure thing. And then, of course, you have Kansas City, which was everybody's favorite team, but they're being talked about just a little bit less now. And here's San Diego, the LA Chargers, nip it at their heels.
And they're playing the Steelers on the road this week. That's a great game. Well, if you just want to talk about for the 6th seed, like if you're trying to figure out who's going to make the playoffs, teams that are all still in it out of the AFC, technically, you got to. I think anybody that's not 5 and 6 or better, right now. But you have to include the 5 and 6 teams, because they could be a 6 seed. So technically speaking, Miami is still in it, Baltimore is still in it. Cincinnati's sinking fast, but they're still in it.
Denver.
Denver without question. Hell, Denver. Go look at Denver's schedule the rest of the way.
It's Denver-Cincinnati this weekend, so if somehow Cincinnati pulled off an upset, it's an elimination game for one of the two.
But obviously the Chiefs are 9-2. The Chargers are 8-3. Denver's 5-6. That's why you include them. The only teams that are out of it right now, and technically just out of it, like we know they're not going to do anything. Jacksonville's 3-8. They're done. Oakland's 2-9. They're done. I suppose Cleveland's still in it at 4-6-1. I mean, probably unlikely. They may have to win out.
They have to win out. Yeah.
But Buffalo's 4-7. They're not in it. The Jets are obviously not in it at 3-8. But the Dolphins technically are still in it at 5-6. Yeah, almost the entire AFC is in it.
No, you're setting up for a divisional playoff weekend. Wildcard weekend is usually pretty crappy, but it might be okay this year.
Mm-hmm.
But the divisional playoffs this year in both conferences, I think, are going to be absolutely phenomenal, because you have different locations and different styles. I mean, in the NFC, obviously everybody looks at the Rams and the Saints for all the offense, but the Bears, who wants to go to Soldier Field?
Nobody.
Nobody wants to go play that.
I went, enjoyed it, had a great time.
As a fan, yeah absolutely. But who wants to play that team there?
No, you don't, especially because it'll be 4.
Well, and if Trubisky's healthy and he has a little bit of command of the offense and they have a lot of speed to the perimeter.
They do.
You're talking about combining eras. It's like combining all of those years with the Bears and how great their defense was, and then like the Trestman era for a couple of seasons.
It's really funny. When I was there, they welcomed back former players, and they were in. I can't remember who it was, but they were interviewing one, and he was saying he was from the Super Bowl champion Bears, and he said look, we won with defense. Everybody knows Buddy Ryan. Everybody knows the 46, all that. But I love coming to these games this year because we can score. are. Like, he was elated that they have an offense in Chicago, which they never have.
Like, let's say Carolina gets in, and I get that they're up and down, but in a 1 week, one-off, if you get them in a divisional game,
you don't want to play them, but they're in trouble.
Play that team.
Well, they're screwing this up. They've lost 3 straight. Carolina, what the hell are you doing? They're too good. I mean, there's no reason for that nonsense. They're 6-5. They're still the same thing about the AFC is true of the NFC. If you're finding 6 teams, well, here you go, man. Obviously, the Saints, Rams, Bears, Vikings, and then it gets really fascinating.
You have Vikings, Patriots this weekend.
Well, and the Vikings are going to get screwed by the schedule. First of all, they're 6-4-1. That tie is going to kill them. That's good. It's going to end up
point blank win. They had 2 chances at it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But anyhow, okay, so there they are, 6-4-1. Here are all the 6-5 teams or 5-6 teams. This is where you're at now. This is why it's a critical game tonight. Dallas is 6-5. Basically, probably needs to win the division because I don't think like them or Washington. They're both 6-5. Washington is on the decline. Dallas is on the come up. We'll see what happens with those 2 teams for that division. But Seattle's playing great football right now, and Russell Wilson is fantastic. He just is. But they can run the football. They're playing good defense. So Seattle is 6-5. Carolina 6-5. The aforementioned. Yes, the defending world champions are still in it. They survived with that win that they just got against the Giants, coming back from a 19-3 deficit. But I don't know. They're on life support at 5-6, and if you look at them, they're a negative 23 point difference. They're not any good. Green Bay's probably not going anywhere. They have to win out, and nobody thinks they're going to win out. They're 4-6-1, and their head coach and quarterback are not exactly friendly. That ain't going to work. I see Aaron Rodgers. Keep chucking into the ground so you get Mike McCarthy fired. That's hilarious. Guy's an all-time great quarterback. Every week I tune in now. He's throwing balls into the dirt. Okay. I got you, buddy. You're just done with McCarthy.
Balls in the dirt.
You're just throwing balls in the dirt is what you're doing. McCarthy's got to be like,
So he's going with balls in the dirt.
So he's going to just throw the ball into the ground, are you? The guy was kind of open. You just threw it into the ground, didn't you?
Another dirt ball.
Look at that. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks in history, could fall off his right foot out of bounds, be parallel to the ground, underhanded 57 yards on a rope to a receiver on the far sideline to keep a play alive. But we got a 10-yard out, and he's fired it into the ground here with a clean pocket. Okay, sure. Rodgers is funny, though. When he gets asked about being hurt or his mechanics, did you see him laugh at that reporter? A reporter asked him about his mechanics, and he went, my mechanics. He was upset, and it was great because I agree with him in this situation. Like, what are you doing? You're a reporter. You're going to talk to Aaron Rodgers about quarterback mechanics. Come on, man. He goes, are you worried about your mechanics? No, I'm not worried about my mechanics. And then he just looked over at the next question. You got to see the way he looked at it. I'm like, what are we doing?
I actually don't mind the question if it's worded that way. Are you worried about your mechanics? I'm not questioning your mechanics. Are you worried about them?
You are worried about his mechanics when you ask the question.
Well, how do you explain spiking the ball into the ground if you have perfect mechanics and a clean pocket? Aaron, what's going on?
No, but Aaron is looking at him like, I've never been a guy that people describe as having great mechanics. I throw the ball from a million different angles. I'm throwing it from my hip half the time. I'm not a guy where we go, man, that's how you teach it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why he laughed at the question, because he's never been about mechanics. He's accurate despite not having any mechanics. You know, he's a guy that just does crazy stuff. And that's what makes him so fun, though, is that he's not a robot. He does things like, how do you throw that well on the run? Well, it's not the mechanics. It's just he's a gifted, talented hand talent, my man.
So when I grew up watching the NBA in the 90s in the East, it was a golden era. Even though the Bulls were always going to win if Michael was there and he wasn't just coming off of a gambling vacation or whatever it was. They had so many different personalities in the East, those teams. The NFL's like that right now. You know, we're talking about Drew Brees in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
In that era, every offense looked the same. Every offense. It was all pro style, 3 yards, 3rd and 4, all this, and it's pro style, drop back, under center. You have all of these different identities, offensively and defensively speaking, across the league.
Deshaun Watson, going down the list of guys that are
the Bears
fun to watch
their
play.
Defense. Phillip Rivers out of nowhere.
Well, Phillip's been good for a long time, but he's having another one of those years.
But he's going crazy. He's going Breeze.
He's going to end up with more kids if he's not careful. My God.
That's what keeps him honest. He keeps him working.
He's got to earn a check. He's got to earn a check, Tom. Hey, it's Thursday. You know what that means? Centrale Township, Madison Social. Oh, yeah. Madison Social right now offering the social agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 ales, all for just 40 bones. Those are proof ales. They're delicious. Tasty. Parking's no longer a problem over there. Great food and service. Visit ThursdaysInCollegetown.com for more details. I will tell you this, Township Taco Tuesday, 2 bones for a taco. Yes, sir. Centrale, 50% off select pizzas. Make it happen. That's today. It's good stuff. Make your way down there. Again, ThursdaysInCollegetown.com for more details. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football, brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Stay ahead of the game. Find an agent at farmers.com. A great primetime match coming up as the Dallas Cowboys host the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees and the Saints march in with a 10-game winning streak and great play on both sides of the ball. But Brees said this week that the Cowboys have won their last 3 will be a big challenge.
Obviously, they're hot. Last 3 weeks, defensively, they fly around. They're very well coached, very disciplined. They're taking the ball away. They're just doing all the things that great defenses do, getting pressure on the quarterback, good against the run. So really in every facet of what you would say is winning football, championship caliber football, these guys are doing it right now.
Ian Eagle and Tony Baselli will have the call with the Saints at the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster.
Napa know-how. It's the biggest holiday sale ever at Napa. Like a Black Friday sale every day, with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Just $17.99. See, just like Black Friday, but nobody gets trampled. So don't miss Napa's biggest holiday sale ever. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/18.
It's time to find the one, the perfect Christmas tree. And you do that at the Home Depot, where you'll be surrounded by a wonder-inducing selection of fresh-cut trees and greenery. You'll find the one, and then the Home Depot will net it and load it in your car for you. Or, if you want one brought to your door, you can order your live tree online and it will be delivered free. Fresh-cut trees and greenery. This is how we owe Christmas tree. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Continental U.S. only. Selection and prices vary by store. See store for details.
Did you know that one major advantage of propane cooking is that it offers more precise temperature control than electric? That means perfectly cooked meals every time. Propane also heats your home faster and maintains the warmth longer than electric or fuel oil, allowing you to potentially reduce your energy bill. If you'd like to know more, contact AmeriGas Propane right here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
Shop Lowe's and save on a Craftsman 81-piece mechanics tool set, now just $89.98. The set includes drive tools, sockets, an extension, and a 120-tooth ratchet with a 3-degree arc swing, making it easier to get into those hard-to-reach spaces. Plus, it's backed by a full lifetime warranty, so you can be sure the tool you need will be there when you need it. Get yours today at Lowe's, the new home of Craftsman. Valid through 12/5 while supplies last. See store for details, U.S. only.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Week 13 in the NFL starts with a big NFC matchup tonight in Texas. The 6-5 Cowboys hosting the 10-1 Saints. New Orleans clinches a playoff spot with a win tonight. Rams coach Sean McVay says today he expects cornerback Aqib Talib to play Sunday against the Lions. Talib has been out since week 4 with an ankle injury. Conference championship weekend in college football. In the SEC title game in Atlanta, it's number 1 Alabama and 4th-ranked Georgia. Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
When you're playing against a team who kind of runs things similar in a way as, how they run their defense, schematic-wise, I think it's definitely going to be tough. They're going to disguise their coverages. They're going to disguise their blitz. A lot of things are going to end up, playing factors into this game. But I think it's going to be a really exciting game. This is, like a rematch of the national championship all over. I think it's going to be fun, both sides of the ball. and we're looking forward to this new challenge that we're faced with.
Tua Tagovailoa on the Herb Street and Fitzsimmons podcast. Tennessee quarterback Will McBride announces on social media today that he'll transfer to another school. In 2 years with the Volunteers, McBride played in only 2 games. Those came last year during his freshman season. Tennessee was 5-7 this season. Purdue coach Jeff Brom turned down a chance to coach at Louisville, his alma mater. ESPN's Chris Lowe reports Brom will get a better deal from Purdue now, though. A salary bump of $1.2 million, up to $5 million a year, including bonuses and incentives.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, Redemption Thursday edition of the program. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming. That's free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, remember, we make it easy on you. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You know, Tom, had a conversation this morning with businessmen. How about that? That sounds real official. We were talking about the possibility of a Topgolf coming to Tallahassee.
No.
It's been rumored.
Like a mini Topgolf?
It can't be that big-ass one like they have in Tampa, but there's talks.
Come on.
I don't think it's...
Is this like the Dave & Buster's thing where it's been talked about for 10 years?
You're right. Dave & Buster's has been talked about for 10 years. You know, when we were in Chicago, one of the days that you weren't feeling well, I went and walked a lot of Chicago.
Like each of the days.
Yeah. But this is the one where you were really hurting. And I went and walked around, and you know what I found? An arcade. It was right where, and you know how excited I got about that. But then I was let down in the same way that Dave & Buster's always lets me down. Here's the deal. So I was walking past that giant, you may have seen it when you were walking around Chicago. There's that huge AMC. Did you see that AMC
Yes,
theater?
I did, yeah.
Massive, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got like 47 theaters. Anyhow, I saw that, and I thought, well, whatever. You know, haven't been to a movie in years. I should probably go. I catch them all on either Netflix or HBO or something, but actually going to the theater.
Man, just go to the Dolby one here because it's got the recliners plus the Dolby surround sound.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
the last time, I shouldn't say I haven't been in years. I take my kids to whatever kids' movies they want to see, but like an actual adult movie, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, like the thing about the IMAX is it's got seats, but they're not the super comfy recliner seats. But the Dolby is the best of both worlds. You get that extra
I like
experience.
that reclining seat. Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Buddy.
It's
Yeah.
nice. You can fall asleep if the movie sucks. You're like, all right. No, I think the last time I went was The Revenant, which I loved, but I mean, that's been a while. Like this 3 years ago or
Yeah,
something.
The Revenant.
it's been a minute.
It's,
so anyhow,
at least 2.
This is what happens when you have kids, man. Not get married, but once you get married and have kids, that's movies are done. You just don't have the time. Anyhow, the point was I walked past that, and I looked over, and I saw the AMC, and I went, whatever. Kept walking, and then I saw this thing that said something about games, and I looked back over. They're like, the best arcade this part of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
I went, arcade? Oh, you got me. And I went in there, and they do that same thing. I need somebody to bring back the 1980s arcades. Like we really need Aladdin's Castle type place. You know, the all-time great arcades where machine to machine to machine to machine to machine to machine and all that. What they do now is they spread out the games a good bit. They're all huge. They're all larger than life, these games. Like everybody's got to be driving a car and make it feel like they're driving a car. So the machine is gigantic, like a car. So as you're going around and You see, they give you a card. They don't get, it's not quarters or anything like that.
This is not made up passion. Listen to the passion in this man's voice, people.
It's true. I miss record stores and arcades and bookstores. I miss them terribly. Anyhow, so I went in there, and they got me. I'm like, okay, I want to see the arcade. I'll pay to play. Come on, you got me. So I walked in, and they said, well, you just give us a credit card, and we'll give you a game card. I don't like that. I'd rather have my coins. I like to play exactly the amount of games I want to play. I don't want to have to be forced to play the amount on the card or go back and put more on the card or end up leaving Chicago like I did with all kinds of money on my card. If anybody's going to Chicago, I'll give you an arcade card. I've got like $20 on it still. So anyhow, got it, went in, and all the games were huge. All of them are spread out, and they're all shooting zombies or racing cars and bumping into one another. They're all large, and they all cost like $275 to play one game, right? And it's not the money, Tom. It's not the money, but it's just annoying. You got to slide your little card. It's not the same. I want an old-timey arcade.
Well, I mean, they sponsor the Saturday show, and they spend some money with us. Why don't you go to the Flip and Grade pinball place, dude?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but I've never been, and that's great. But I've never
like
been
pinball, don't you?
It's okay.
They got also some 70s vintage stuff.
I'll go there. Pinball's always been, depends on the pinball machine.
Yeah.
Never fell in love with pinball. That's a very 70s thing, pinball.
Well, you're 70s, man.
Well, I grew up mainly in the 80s. I mean, I was 8 years old at the end of the 70s. So there are not a lot of 6-year-olds out there playing pinball is what I'm saying. In 77, I wasn't like, hey, let's take it to the pinball.
Yeah. I'll bet you were.
I've always
We'll have to ask your mom this week.
Way,
did you play pinball as a kid? I'm sure she'll go, sure.
Yeah,
Jeffrey loved pinball.
He loved it. Smoking cigarettes, playing pinball. He was 7 years old. No, like track and field. Remember track and field? 80s games. You get the pencil. Bah! I loved it.
We had the turbo controller. You just hold the button down.
No. See, that's not getting it done.
Listen, they did that for me because I was 5 and I couldn't.
Okay, that's fair. But see, you missed out on the fun. You take a pencil, you put it between these two fingers here, and then it's on the 2 run buttons, and you go. You had to be imaginative. That's how you did it. You could haul ass for the long jump. It was great.
Heard a hole in oats. You're hauling ass.
So the old arcades, I miss them. That's all I'm trying to say here. A little bit. I thought I had found one. I figured Chicago, of all places, probably has an old-timey arcade. They might. It wasn't that place.
Still astounded at how clean that city is.
Well,
the streets are
impeccable. They figure everybody will move away if they don't, because it's 6 degrees year-round.
This is true.
No, I mean, it's not that, but, again, I think we could probably make some money with a good old-style arcade. We've got to keep the games up.
Well, that was when I was in Dallas, the north end of Dallas. There was a place called Kung Fu, and that was a place that had free play of the arcade games. And they had a good mixture of stuff, like the stand-up arcade games, skee ball. They had the basketball, Papa Shot. Everybody loves to play Papa Shot.
Papa Shot's great. Still love Papa Shot. Got to tell you, skee ball never did it for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like skee ball?
Don't care anything about it.
It's like Bane said, so simple.
I play it every time I go in because the kids want to play because they want tickets. That's another thing. What's with the tickets?
Oh, that started in my generation,
I hate
think.
That's stupid.
The ticket
Thanks
counter
for all the
and the
stupid
giveaways.
tickets, and then I got to go. Yeah, I don't like the tickets.
No, well,
all you can win is like a freaking blow pop or something.
So,
it's like, oh, here's a plastic boat. Here, enjoy that in the tub. You got nothing. There's no good prizes.
That's pretty true. The plastic boat.
That's what you get.
75 tickets.
Get dumbass things is what you get.
Man, so I go back far enough that Celebration Station on US 19 in
I
Clearwater.
remember Celebration Station, yeah.
They didn't have ticket counters yet. So the dude literally had to do counting of the tickets. And so they would fold it. They get to a point of 5, and they fold it back and forth and count that way. But I can remember when they could feed the tickets in, and it would give you this red light number of how many you had. And that was like you're waiting because you had these thresholds of 250 and 500.
Yeah.
And as a kid, that mattered all the more. But what would happen is you'd always have, like, inevitably 17 tickets left. So you just get 2 bouncy balls. And that was the toy that would drive my parents nuts. Because you'd bounce them all around the house.
You bounce them all
things
around the house.
Crazy.
Those balls bounce, buddy.
Yes, they do.
I know.
I kept it together there.
At Jay Cameron Show, if you're ever out in Austin, check out Pinball Zarcade. You were in Austin a lot back in the day. It is a bring your own beer arcade.
Yep.
That sounds like the old school one you're looking for. That's true, W. I am looking for that one. Yeah.
The way this Kung Fu place worked is it was a Sunday brunch, and they had specials on, food, of course. But as long as you had a tab up at the bar, you could play any game you want.
That's what you do.
On the house.
Remember the game Kung Fu?
Oh, hell yeah.
Kung Fu was awesome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that.
And then you'd have to hit the jar while it was in the air, else the little snake would come out of it.
Loved it. And I also loved there was a version of Kung Fu for the Commodore 64 on a floppy disk. And my buddy learned how to pirate all these games back in the day. And he would steal the games and put them on the floppy disk. And it was like a big to-do to go get that floppy disk. He was an enterprising young man. He would be like, I've got everything here. I've got Joust. I've got Kung Fu. I've got it all right here on a floppy disk. And I would buy that floppy disk from him, come home and set it up. And my mom would wonder, how the hell do you have all these games? Well, you didn't buy all these games. I'm like, don't worry about it. We got games. So we're playing the games. It was great. And I would play that version. And somebody my age knows what I'm talking about. There was a version of Karateka. It was called Karateka. Anyhow, that's what it was. And you could, I've never seen it since I miss it.
Huh.
It was a great game.
With Kung Fu, my favorite thing is all of the enemies have the same laugh, except they just pitch it up or low.
Yeah.
So there's like a little person enemy, there's a big dude with a pot belly, and then there's just another ninja who looks like your Kung Fu guy. And they'll go when they beat you in different pitches. So the little guy's like, meh.
Speaking of when they beat you, Florida State did last night to Purdue, 73-72. Great game. And you know what's amazing? They had one double-digit scorer last night. That's it. That's all they had. Walker.
Must have had 40.
He had 13. 4 guys with 9 points and 3 guys with 7 points. Really emblematic of what we absolutely love about this team, and the reason they're so damn difficult to play is no one guy can be the guy you have to hyper-focus on. All of these guys play major roles and have a component that adds up to victory. And they didn't even play their best game, not even close to it. Not even close to it. And they aren't fully healthy. They still have no Phil Cover, and he's a big damn deal, especially defensively. So when you win games like this, you can't take it for granted. They're 6-1. They've played back-to-back-to-back against ranked teams, 2-1 in that stretch. They've had a top 30 schedule in terms of difficulty of schedule, strength of schedule. I knew I'd figure it out sooner or later. And, they play a brand of basketball that's a lot of fun, too. They only scored 73 points last night, but I always juxtapose that with the idea that when we were really good, the Sweet 16 team, the 4 straight tournament bids, all that, before we flew into the side of a mountain for a while, 73 points, we'd have been dancing in the street.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was like, oh, my God, they scored 56 last night, really lit it up. They had 24 at half. It was crazy.
Well, I'll have to go back. I feel like we scored 30 in the final 10 minutes or maybe a little bit less last night. We played a lot of games against these good teams recently where it's about 12-12 at the under 8, at the 10-minute mark of the first half. You're like, oof. All right, we're going back to the old days. And the next thing you know, at halftime, we have 44 points. You're like, well, that was how? I'm not sure how that happened. It just we rack up these little runs, and they're not spectacular, but they are potent.
Well, I know that it's a cool thing to have a team that, while we don't do that, like you said, and we are unique in many ways, I never feel like we're out of games. And this goes back to last year's team and the year before. And they just keep fighting. They keep playing well. And they keep, I guess, just the idea that, look, play the next possession, see what happens. And they look dead in the water at times. Last night they did. And yet we saw it recently against LSU. Hell, you saw it even in the game they lost against Villanova. They could have been boat raced in that game. They were holding on for dear life. Yeah. They had dead legs. They were playing a team that could get to the basket. And yet there they were within 2 minutes to play. They're hanging tough, man. That's just who they are.
This is nice for them, though, because they don't play till Monday night, I believe it is, against Troy. And then they play UConn Saturday next week. So you get a normal college basketball week where you're just playing 2 games. And that rest starts now for them, where they get 4 good days just to look at the film and get better at practice, and not try and patchwork something together while they're trying to rest up at the same time. This is good for us to get through the stretch at 6-1. It's kind of like,
it's awesome
when we were looking at the schedule for football. before the season fell to shambles. You're like, all right, before the bye week, can we get to 5-1, 6-1, somewhere in there
Imagine
before Clemson
that
comes
conversation.
to town?
My
Because if we
goodness
can do
gracious.
that, then we can parlay it.
Yeah.
Well, what we're doing in the non-conference is going to give us a strike or two in case the ACC is the ACC and we blow a game we don't expect to blow.
Yeah, our conversation in retrospect about the football team should have been, can we line up? Can we have enough people on the field? Can we stop taking the ball to the end zone and blocking people in the back? These are all the things I wish for next season, Tom. That's it. Getting lined up properly, not incessantly feeling the need to take a kick out of the end zone so that you can start on your own 5 every freaking time you get the ball.
If you can improve the O-line to below average, just squarely below average,
Yes.
and you have a quarterback who can read an unblocked defender, this offense will be...
Oh, my God. And this is funny. I was having this conversation with a friend today. We were talking about the offensive line. Everybody's blown away by those offensive line rankings, right? You know, you look at the Pro Football Focus rankings. It's like, how the hell do we have 2 of the worst offensive linemen in the country on the same line? I mean, what are the chances?
Like 900 of them.
Like, you're telling me, listen, my old school, ETSU, like, you're telling me that there's not some kid at Etsu that sucks infinitely worse than 2 starters on our offensive line? Nope. Mathematically impossible, according to Pro Football Focus. It's crazy, right? Like, somebody at Memphis doesn't just I can't say what I was going to say, but anyhow, you know, that's crazy. So those rankings, which whatever they were, 894 or whatever that number was.
I think it's 898.
I'm also, by the way, I know this is at a kid's expense, but, you know, the show's the show. Here's the thing.
Oh, boy.
I still laugh all the time when I think about the fact that Jawan Williams had a 0 in a game this year. A 0. You literally could have put a small child where he was standing and the rating wouldn't have been any worse. Literally. It couldn't have been worse than Jawan Williams, who got a 0.
The show is the show.
0.
No filter. U.S. Tour 2019. April 24th, TIAA Bank Field. The world's greatest rock and roll band. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com, Veterans Memorial Arena box office, or by phone. 1-800-745-3000. The Stones.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. We have all felt the impact of Hurricane Michael across the Florida Panhandle. Like Tallahassee was beat up and bruised, our neighbors from Apalachicola to Panama City, their lives will be changed forever. Hearts and prayers go out to all affected. And while there is devastation, there is hope, because Floridians are strong and we take care of our own. I have traveled with the Red Cross and have seen much of the devastation in person. The pouring in of help from volunteers that are neighbors and strangers alike is incredible and is what makes us all proud to be Americans. Also, if your vehicle was damaged by the storm, you automatically qualify for Nissan's factory employee pricing, which is up to $1,500 under invoice. In addition, you keep all rebates or 0% interest on most models. And Nissan Corporate has just announced no payments until 2019. It's Nissan's way of helping our neighbors, and Kraft Nissan will put an additional $1,000 on all trades. But my main message today is to do what you can do to continue helping, whether your time or your treasure. This is going to be a long process, but I promise you, Kraft Nissan will continue to help until the job is done.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-519-TERM. 866-519-TERM. 866-519-TERM.
Shop Lowe's and save on a Craftsman 81-piece mechanics tool set, now just $89.98. The set includes drive tools, sockets, an extension, and a 120-tooth ratchet with a 3-degree arc swing, making it easier to get into those hard-to-reach spaces. Plus, it's backed by a full lifetime warranty, so you can be sure the tool you need will be there when you need it. Get yours today at Lowe's, the new home of Craftsman. Valid through 12/5 while supplies last. See store for details. U.S. only.
This football season, cater your tailgate with Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce.
There's searching for low prices on appliances, and then there's finding them. At the Home Depot, get Spring Black Friday savings of up to 35% on appliance special buys, like a Whirlpool top freezer refrigerator in stainless steel for just $398. Spring has sprung with up to 35% off appliance special buys at Spring Black Friday. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 25th, U.S. only, while supplies last. See store for details.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega, as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Thursday, friends. Wagers are up on the Facebook page, ESPN Tallahassee. Really quick, I'll go over them. I took Washington, gave 5.5 to Utah. Stanford -3 against Cal. Memphis +3.5 to UCF. By the way, Memphis win the game. There you go. That's the end of the win streak. We don't have to hear about UCF anymore. Fresno State +2.5 against Boise State. Northwestern +14.5 against Ohio State. And in the NFL, took Indianapolis over Jacksonville -4. Atlanta -1.5 against Baltimore. And the Bears -4 against the Giants.
So we have audio from the future on Monday if your pick is correct about Memphis and UCF.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Don't worry. We can just transfer money from your account into a portfolio with your son, and it's gone.
Still one of my favorites. You can watch that 1,000 times and laugh every time. Because he keeps doing it.
With the old lady.
Yeah.
What?
Do it again.
Don't worry. We can just transfer money from your account into a portfolio with your son, and it's gone.
They must have been buckled over. I mean, I couldn't finish the segment. I would have been laughing so hard.
Sorry, your money's gone. Step aside. This line is for customers only, please.
I would have just been laughing and laughing and laughing.
Oh, what do you have there? A simple deposit slip? Well, that's great. Let's do this with it.
Oh, that's great. At Jay Cameron Show, there is one problem with having scoring so dispersed like the Noles. With 15 seconds left to go, down 3, who do you count on to score? If it's 1 or 2, it's Trent Forrest, but 3, who? My man CG in Lakeland from back in the day. What's up, CG? I would say that you're going to go to Savoy to hit a 3. If he's open.
Correct. And we did last night.
He's just not hitting
over and over.
Gotta hit him, my man. Gotta hit him. He'll hit him.
Is he 2 of 11?
Yeah, I'll hit him. He'll get there. I'm not worried about it.
I'm not even dogging him because when he gets hot, it changes everything about what we are.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
We did keep on knocking on that door a little bit.
You know damn well my man's going to have a game this year where he's the only guy hitting shots, and we win because he hits 8 threes or something ridiculous.
So something we didn't capture from the Leonard Hamilton postgame interview, but he was talking about that final play and the options, and it's really a nicely designed play. So obviously they inbound it to Forrest, he gives it to man, and then they're hoping to get a switch, catch the defense confused, which it absolutely did. And so option 1 is Forrest, of course, getting into the lane. And if he does,
which he does,
you shoot the basketball, and he did, and he made it. But Terrence Mann, if you go back and watch the replay, he times it perfectly to wait for Forrest to take the runner. And then once he does, he darts towards the basket to be help on the boards. I think it's him and Raekwon Gray that are underneath. But then you have spaced out very nicely P.J. Savoy on the near side and M.J. Walker on the far side in case there's a collapse for a kick out. It is, remember when back in the day, the first iteration before we got mad at Ham, we would knock the staff for not having inbounds
Well, they didn't have a person to inbound the ball. Yeah, there was a lot of...
But then somewhere along,
they figured
2010, 2011, they were
getting dunks on all the inbounds.
We were great on it. I mean, we'd have those inbounds ones and they'd be alley-oops.
Well, that's because, we started recruiting real length,
But in general, if we're coming out of a timeout, we do have something for you. This play last night was masterful with all the options it had.
The old lazy narratives about this team are long gone for anybody that's actually paying attention. I mean, there's just no doubt. They're a well-coached team, period.
That's why you don't foul and you get a held ball with the possession arrow pointing Florida State's way for the final possession.
It's also why you win so many games. You just keep winning a lot of basketball games.
Lost 2 of your last 40 or whatever it is at home.
I feel like it's necessary to say because for whatever reason, people just haven't figured it out yet. But, they're well coached. They win a lot of games. And they're at Florida State in the toughest conference in America in basketball, and they have like a third of the resources that Duke and North Carolina and other schools like that, Syracuse, Louisville, put into basketball. But there they are, kicking ass.
That Mac hire has some potential, though, for bad blood between these schools. That guy is a bit of a – he's not Mick Cronin bad, but he's
a red ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? At Jay Cameron Show, back to one of our Tier 2 sports. Do you think Taggart needs to address staff changes before guys start going in home for visits? No, I don't really know. Just snow them over. Kind of string them along. Do what you got to do.
The kids, too. If they like a guy who's going to get canned.
Yeah. You don't tell them.
Yeah.
You lie to them. You got to.
He's not going to be your position coach next year. That you don't even want to say that, It's like, we'll worry about that once you sign the line.
Sign the line, then we may call you and say, thanks so much. Really, just a bit of bad news real quick, though, and thanks. We love the commitment. We have fired your coach. But it's all right. We got another good one coming in. You'll like this guy.
Listen, I know that, the only reason you signed with us is you wanted David Kelly to coach you.
I don't think David's going anywhere, by the way.
You don't think he's coming off the field?
Oh, yeah, he's coming off the field.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying he's not going to be,
You want him to coach you, but he's going to be in the office.
Yeah.
So if you need him, he'll still be here, but he's going to be in the office.
Yeah. He's taking care of the bag man to go get more of you guys. We got to do what we got to do.
We can only hope.
That's true. Chris writes, at Jay Cameron Show, maybe I missed it, but since it's after Thanksgiving, can we get some Squire bumper music? Listen, I was just listening to Little Billy the other day, but it's not December, Chris. Soon it will be. Your wait will be over, and we'll hear the Billy Squire Christmas music that we all yearn for. Frankly, I do in June. I'll occasionally bump it in June. That's what I do. But, yeah, so we'll have that on.
In the interim, can you once again introduce just the title of the video, the questionable Billy Squire video that changed his career forever?
Is that
I put you on? I'm sorry.
No, is it Rock Me Tonight? Is that the one?
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I had never seen it a year or two ago, and then you said, "We're going to watch this together." And much like a Rinaldi piece on College Game Day, I prefer to watch that alone because
it's ridiculous.
What are we doing here?
Well, I'm telling you, man, I get mad about it every time I think about whoever gave them the advice. What in the world? Listen, Billy, I really think you ought to go with the pink leg warmers.
Yeah, I think Nathan Lane was the director of that video.
Him or Elton John. And I was like, what in the world? Yeah, let's see. I'll tell you right now.
I'm sorry. I thought you knew that one.
I do know it. I want to make sure. Yeah, I'm right. I got it right. It is Rock Me Tonight. It's, I don't want to do that to Billy. We don't need to put that out there, man.
Oh, give Chris some entertainment in the interim. There you go.
Man, is it? Oh, it's on right now. I'm watching it right now. You know how they do the preview? Like if you just type it in, they'll do the preview of the video.
Wait a minute. Do I spy with my little eye that Wheezy is sitting across from me and not your new computer?
I felt bad. Okay, so I know we got to go to break. Wheezy is my computer. For those of you who listen on a regular basis, you know this. She's been around a long time. It's just an HP. I've had it for since we've been here at least
6+ years.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Laptops don't. I recently made the switch to Mac, and I have a MacBook Air, right? And I'm already eye connected. They got me. I know they got me. What are you gonna do? But I gave in to my overlord and said, "That's okay, Apple. I'm here for you." All my other devices are Apple, right? So I want them all to talk to one another.
You've broken me.
They did. I
wanted to be broken.
I did. I said, "Come on, let's do this." So here's the thing. I decided to move on. I got a good price on a MacBook Air, and I thought, all right. And your girlfriend told me to do it too. She said you should do it. Go on in, and you talk about the Apple you use at the house. Sometimes.
Oh, it's great. That thing's from 2010. It's still kicking
ass, right? So anyhow, I started to use it. So the last 2 days, I have not been using Wheezy, and we call her Wheezy. I call her Wheezy because she struggles. She struggles a little bit. Like if I ask her to do anything complex, like go to a website.
That has too many pre-roll videos.
Yeah, she's like, and you can hear it on the air.
She's going to take off.
She's like, I don't know. They're running commercials, man. So that's what happens to the Wheeze. So I thank her all the time. She's missing pieces. Like half the left side got torn off at some point, but not enough to ruin the computer. So Wheezy doesn't have, like over here.
Oh, George.
Yeah. So Wheezy struggles. The fan doesn't work all that well. It'll come on for no reason, then it'll turn off, then it comes back on, and as soon as we start playing videos, or you have any of those pop-up ads, Wheezy struggles. So I ended up saying, well, Wheeze, you've served me well. It's time to move on. I'm gonna bring in a more efficient, smaller, lighter computer that pairs all of my various devices. And but I literally felt bad, like she's a freaking person. I had her here because she's still in my computer bag, and I put the new one in there. I haven't named the new one. It's very impersonal. It's just a Mac. So maybe his name's Mac. So anyhow, he's in there, and I'm like, whatever. And then today, as I got set up on my computer, I for some reason reached for the Wheezy. I had a choice, and the brain said, go to Wheezy. She's starting to get suspicious. It's been a couple days. She's just been sitting in the bag. She's like, what are we doing here? It's awfully dark. It's been like 72 hours. Why the hell have I not been utilized?
So you taking another vacation?
Yes.
I know. I'm just like those War Chant posters. He takes too many vacations.
So, yeah, with the Wheeze, I felt bad about it, so I propped her up to here today. She's working like a charm right now, Tom. I'm proud of her. She is. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 websites up and running right now. All of them right there at the top. The Wheeze is just cruising right along. You're watching Rock Me Tonight, aren't you?
Liberace saw this and was like, damn, dude, tone it down a bit. That's
a comment?
That's a comment.
I know.
John Lithgow watched this and immediately banned all white people from dancing in his town.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Well, I think it's the look to the sky and the tearing of the tank top. That's the one. That's the moment where you go, what in the world? What are we doing, Billy?
Commenter Gene Waterhouse says, I'm a pretty feminine woman, but Billy has me beat on all the skipping and prancing. No matter how hard I try, I just can't get it girly enough.
It's like us when we're down 41-14 and score a touchdown and then preen for the world to watch. There it is. There it is. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, no. God.
Time now for the Tampa Bay Lightning Report, brought to you locally by Township of Tallahassee.
The Tampa Bay Lightning gets set to take on the Buffalo Sabres tonight at Amalie Arena. Buffalo comes in having won 10 games in a row. Currently, they are in first place in the Atlantic Division. These two teams met back on November 13th Buffalo defeated Tampa Bay 2-1. Tampa Bay is looking to go 4-1 on this 5-game homestand with a win tonight. The team did make a roster move yesterday. Goaltender Connor Ingram was called up from Syracuse. In 10 games with the Crunch, Ingram is 7-3, and he's won each of his past 6 starts. Now, because of that move, Eddie Pasquale has been reassigned to the Crunch. Also, Anton Strawman will continue to undergo treatment for his upper body injury and be reevaluated in a week. With your Lightning Report, I'm Greg Winelli.
At Township and College Town, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins plus a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers The Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. And let's not forget the 32 taps and a private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in College Town.
Car get caught in some gridiron action? Take it to Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center. Now open at the new location on Lake Bradford Road. The new Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center is still providing the best car care and collision service in town with the same great people, but now at a new state-of-the-art facility off Lake Bradford Road. Come check it out for a free collision estimate and find out why Bob's Auto Repair and Collision has been rated #1 with FSU students in Tallahassee for over 35 years. Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center, 2293 Lake Bradford Road. Don't let your car get stuck on the bench this season.
License number MP01209.
With football season in full swing, don't forget about fishing our local waterways after the games. Fish are still biting regardless of the score. Sea Quarters Marina, Carabel, Florida. Open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The marina has a ship store, which includes fuel, bait, tackle, ice, and all of your fishing supplies for the trip. Both diesel and non-ethanol fuel is available. Free Wi-Fi and pump out with boat slip rental. Sea Quarters Marina, 501 St. James Avenue, Carabel, Florida, 697-8400. Visit them online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Make this the coolest Christmas ever with Orca Coolers. Orca has something for everyone on your list. From American-made, lifetime guaranteed coolers that hold ice for up to 200 hours to stainless steel drinkware that will keep your holiday spirits ice cold. Orca has more color and design options than any other brand, including officially licensed NCAA, NFL, MLB, and NHL products. Shop OrcaCoolers.com for Black Friday through Cyber Monday to get the best deals of the season. Make every moment cool and give the gift that lasts a lifetime at OrcaCoolers.com.
In 1945, Jack Whitten started a glass company in Tallahassee. Now, over 70 years and 3 generations later, it's still working every day, doing just as Jack wanted, giving his customers real solutions for replacing window glass, providing custom-cut mirrors, and supplying superior bath and shower enclosures. Local building contractors know Whitten Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. They prefer Whitten because of their precision and mastery of eye-catching storefront glass and countertop glass. It's a fact. When you choose Whitten Glass, you're working with real glass people who will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. It's what Jack Whitten wanted, and it's been the Whitten way of doing business for over 70 years. Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. Call Whitten Glass today or visit them online, 850-222-5781 or whittenglass.com.
We're completing our descent and will arrive in TLH shortly.
Oh, I'm so happy to be home.
Once we land, you can take off again with savings from the City of Tallahassee.
What do you mean?
The City of Tallahassee offers rebates for up to $300 in savings when you purchase energy-efficient appliances.
Wow, that would be a huge help.
The city also offers free energy audits.
What's an energy audit?
It's when an energy auditor comes to your home at the time that's convenient for you, examines your structure, and checks your energy and water systems. Then, they recommend changes that could save you energy, water, and money. The city also offers free ceiling insulation grants for qualifying customers.
Man, the city sure offers a lot of ways to save money. Once we land, I will check out all of the products and services the city has to offer. This makes me proud to call Tallahassee home.
Thank you for flying with us today. Don't forget that you can take off with savings with the City of Tallahassee. From rebates for Energy Star appliances to insulation grants, you can save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com for more information.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Week 13 in the NFL starts with a big NFC matchup tonight in Texas. The 6-5 Cowboys hosting the 10-1 Saints. New Orleans clinches a playoff spot with a win tonight. Rams coach Sean McVay says today he expects cornerback Aqib Talib to play Sunday against the Lions. Talib has been out since week 4 with an ankle injury. Conference championship weekend in college football. In the SEC title game in Atlanta, it's number 1 Alabama and 4th-ranked Georgia. Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
When you're playing against a team who kind of runs things similar in a way as, how they run their defense, schematic-wise, I think it's definitely going to be tough. They're going to disguise their coverages. They're going to disguise their blitz. A lot of things are going to end up, playing factors into this game. But I think it's going to be a really exciting game. This is, like a rematch of the national championship all over. I think it's going to be fun, both sides of the ball. And we're looking forward to this new challenge that we're faced with.
Tua Tagovailoa on the Herb Street and Fitzsimmons podcast. Tennessee quarterback Will McBride announces on social media today that he'll transfer to another school. In 2 years with the Volunteers, McBride played in only 2 games. Those came last year during his freshman season. Tennessee was 5-7 this season. Purdue coach Jeff Brom turned down a chance to coach at Louisville, his alma mater. ESPN's Chris Lowe reports Brom will get a better deal from Purdue now, though. A salary bump of $1.2 million, up to $5 million a year, including bonuses and incentives.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I wonder if this team, maybe it will, but it seems like after about 7 to 10 games, you start to kind of recognize some things that are just going to remain as they are. Now, players will develop within a system and all of that. I got it. But given the experience of this team, I don't know that it will change. But we turned it over on over 20% of the possessions last night. We've been a little too turnover prone, man. I'd like that to stop.
I think some of that is that when you get opportunities, we're trying to force the issue because we get so few of them in transition. A couple of those turnovers are underneath the basket in transition where we get a little bit too fast. First half, a couple of them, and then obviously the Trent Forrest turnover in the last minute or two. But some of that, too, is the rotations are just so numerous, the combinations that Leonard's rolling out there. I don't know that everybody knows.
Yeah, no, that was the area that I thought could improve. Like, once he settles in on the minutes, you'll probably see more efficiency. You're right. But that's about it. Maybe just an uptick.
Having Kofor for a kick-out 3, too, in the half-court is going to be invaluable.
I am reading a story that says Southern Cal is going to try to hire Texas Tech's Cliff Kingsbury.
As what? They kept Helton.
Okay, I guess, yeah. No, I didn't mean as a head coach. I guess I should have said that. Yeah, they did, much to the chagrin of Southern Cal fans everywhere who are like, what is it? What does he have pictures? What is going on? Why were we keeping this? Why'd we hire this bum to begin with? Is what most of them said. It's crazy because, you're Southern Cal. It's a good job. You could get a high-profile dude.
Interesting times in Los Angeles and college football there. It's a big win for Chip Kelly, but he doesn't have many wins, so we'll see what comes of it there.
I wonder what you can do at UCLA, man. Again, they have resided comfortably in the tent of suspicion for as long as I've had a tent of suspicion to house them in Wisconsin on an annual basis. I also throw in for a long time, I did anyhow, but somebody who's successfully moved on from the neighborhood and has established a shiny new home in a upscale part of town is Georgia. They used to reside under there with UCLA and Wisconsin. I used to be like, oh, well, Georgia's highly ranked again, I see. Great. Well, I'll see you after those 4 losses.
Yeah, they'll find a way to lose Trayon Harris and fall apart after that.
Right, but no, they've figured it out. They left the tent, and they like the view. They're doing fine. That's a fun team.
Another interesting name that's out there and has been for a long time tied to one school in particular, Jim Leavitt is interviewing for multiple jobs. I don't know that he's waiting around for the oft-used and rumored Kansas State opening that never comes.
Yeah, Bill Snyder's like, I'm never going to leave.
Texas Tech and Colorado are the teams that Jim Leavitt is reportedly
Jim,
kicking the tires
you don't
on.
want to go to Texas Tech.
Agreed, but it might help indirectly with some of the kids that we oddly have a little bit of a connection to in terms of recruiting battles with Oregon.
I like it. Go to Texas Tech. Those kids don't want to follow you, Jim. It's Texas Tech. Brutal. That's a tough. Can you imagine? That job, man. How do you win consistently at Texas Tech? What is reasonable to expect? Just bowl? I think just a bowl.
A bowl, and every other year an upset of a top 15 Big 12 team, like one of the top teams in the conference. I mean, they're good for that every once in a while.
Yeah, well, when you score 60 points, eventually you'll beat somebody. You'll have a day where you just give up 58. I don't know, man. That's because think about what you're up against. First of all, you're there, which, Jesus. And then B, good luck recruiting against Texas in that state if they're humming at all, or Oklahoma, or really anywhere in the Big 12. I mean, all the other teams, right? It's hard to get people to go to Texas Tech.
They find a way, though. I mean, and I'm not saying that Kingsbury, look at his record over the years.
Under 500.
But they find a way to rise up every once in a while. They're not unlike an NC State type program in the ACC.
Well, right.
In terms of what they can do in the conference and upset the apple cart a little bit here and there.
Sure, that part is true. It's interesting because, NC State hasn't won a damn thing. So I just wonder they'll get a win here or there of something that's, I don't know. I asked a guy that this offseason. I was talking to somebody before the year began, a caller to a show that I was hosting, and I said, what's reasonable to expect out of Lubbock? Like, because I always want to define our terms about what you think is a good season, a bad season. They were 7th in the Big 12 this year. If you just kind of go through year in and year out, it seems about right. Played well against Texas, lost 41-34. Lost 21-6 in their final in the game against Kansas State. Lost 35-24 to Baylor. Didn't end the year real well.
So they finished 5-7 this year. Is that right? That's why Kingsbury finally got the axe.
He got fired. Yeah.
They went 6-6 last year. 5-7 the year before. 6-6.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, you can rise up. So it was that long ago. They had 11 wins all the way back in 2008. That was the year that they beat Texas on Saturday Night Football.
Was that Crabtree?
That was Crabtree. Graham Harrell. Yeah.
Crabtree. Yeah, well, I mean, and they've had some dudes every now and again. You're right. If you're a coach, that's interesting to me that you would leave Oregon to go to Texas Tech.
So that double-digit win season for Texas Tech in 2008 was their first since 1976, and the only one they haven't had another one since then. So there you go. They don't even rise up every once in a great while.
They suck. That's the point. That's what I was saying. Why are you taking that job? You don't want that job. You can't really. What are you gonna do there? You're in Lubbock. My God, man!
I just want to move my family to Lubbock. There's a lot of opportunity.
Tough times. I just don't know what you expect. I guess I would need to read a bit more about the finances. I mean, I could have said the same thing for many years about Texas A&M, about like, why would you take that job? Because you have to compete against Texas, and you're always going to be the bitch to Texas. So you got no. That's a toughie.
Is that the case for A&M right now, though?
No. And that's what my point is that things change. So they decided they had more money than sense, and they're going to spend all of it to win football games. And we'll see. We'll see if they do.
It's like a different country out there, though. It's almost like being in Syracuse versus Manhattan.
Yeah, it's really weird. But I do wonder, that program, A&M, by rights, we get back to the money conversation we were just having yesterday with Florida State. We're not even in the same stratosphere right now financially of what Texas A&M does, but I think we'll all safely assume that over the next 7 to 10 years, Florida State will be the better program. Now, some work to be done. We'll see, but yeah.
Well, the next year or two, critical, next couple of recruiting cycles. Because, I mean, if you want to be cold and calculated right now about our coaching situation, it's, all right, can he stock the cupboard at the very least? Because if you can't finish the job, at least the next guy comes in with a football-only facility and good players.
Well, the football-only facility is going to be built. They're making money hand over fist for that. The donations are coming in. People want to win. They get it. And we've always done this. This is the hope that I have. When something has to get done, if we're needing something to, quote-unquote, keep up with the Joneses, if you will, we've always done it. And, we've won. And, certain things have to be sacrificed, I suppose. But, we'll see. I think I'm not – listen, if I came across – and this isn't apologies either. This is just a larger, big-picture perspective thing here. If on Monday it felt like I came in scorched earth myself, talking about what Willie should have done, which was scorched earth the way that Scott Frost did at Nebraska, in retrospect. It's easy to say that after the fact. I agree. But – no, I still have faith in him because I'm going by track record. I'm going by what he has done in his career, which is rectify situations that were on the surface fairly untenable. But I was also critical of elements of the season, which I think is completely fair, and I think most fair-minded people understand the difference, right? But it doesn't mean that I don't think they're going to right the ship here. I do. The question is, how quickly can you? Because we're not the most patient bunch.
Well, it also depends. I mean, here's decisions, right? So we would kill Jimbo towards the end of his tenure for not wanting to fire some people. You could argue whether or not he had the ability to with others, what kind of budget we had. Found it interesting, too. I read the Q&A on War Chant in which John Thrasher was talking to Ira Schafel. And Thrasher took about 2 or 3 opportunities to say that, well, Jimbo and I had conversations that at the end of the 2017 season, if these are the changes that need to be made, we'll make the funds available. Like, John even still to this day says, hey, man, we had the money to make a move if you needed to make a move.
Well, we all know that, too, by the way. And, this was about something much different. And I think, again, I've said it repeatedly. He knew he had lost the locker room. He couldn't get him back. And he didn't want to fire his friends. So he didn't want to fire Rick. And then he wanted to go to a place where he had carte blanche. Where you could just ask for whatever you needed. He felt like that was, obviously that's desirable for any coach, but it's also a failure on his part to recognize, in my opinion, a better situation, a more fertile ground, to sustain excellence, and also the history.
But to apply it here for Willie is, all right, so after this season and then after next season, what kind of drastic changes are you willing to make in terms of the staff? If there have been guys that have been with you forever and a day, do you have the strength to say if they're not cutting it, that they're not reassigned, but they're out of the organization?
Well, given that this is his dream job and he has made that known more than once, I got to believe he'll do whatever he has to do in order to sustain his dream job. You don't work your ass off to get to that place where you're finally atop the mountain at the place that you've most revered, only to remain overly loyal to people who are bringing you down. I don't think that happens. This was never Jimbo's dream job.
Yeah.
I don't know that he has one, frankly.
Auburn would have been my guess if I had to get. He always, longingly talked about Auburn. Of course, he liked small SEC towns.
Well, he does. He likes small southern SEC towns.
There's something about, maybe it's because it was his first job, where he was working in big-time college football, and it was Terry Bowden trusting him with a lot of stuff. He grew a lot there. Maybe his family got started there or something.
He liked LSU a lot, too.
He did, but Auburn, even when you're talking 93 with him, and he'd be like, well, they didn't let us in the game. Y'all had a loss. It was like, oh.
Here we go with the y'all again. Here we go again with the y'all. That's driving me nuts, Coach, and it's just not smart. Yeah.
Maybe subconsciously he didn't change the plays because he didn't want Auburn to win.
There you go. That's the title we should have won back in 93. MyPillow.com. Hey, it's the holiday season. Do the right thing. Go get the buy one, get one free special. Get that going for you. That way you can get one for yourself, sleep comfortably, get that restorative sleep that you need. You won't snore as much. You can wash it, you can dry it, and you'll have an extra one because it's buy one, get one. Then you give that one as a gift. See how you do that? Give it as a gift. I got you a MyPillow. That stuff that Cameron's always shoving down our throat. I figured I'd give it a try. It's awfully comfortable. He's not wrong. It's annoying, but he's not wrong. MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. Click on the buy one, get one free special. Enter the promo code 979ESPN. Make it happen, people. MyPillow.com.
Car buying landscape in North Florida. My brother Peter and I are now the proud new owners of the Infinity dealership in Tallahassee, the all-new Craft Infinity. As Mercedes-Benz dealers for over 25 years early in our careers, we know how to sell and service Highline vehicles the right way. At Craft Infinity, our mission statement is simple: to provide our customers with a car buying experience that is unsurpassed in value, consideration for your time, and pure enjoyment. Finally, the Highline experience you deserve, and it's from the Craft brothers. Infinity is much more than a brand name. It's a lifestyle and it's a statement. And at Craft Infinity, Peter and I will go beyond your expectations in providing the best sales and service experience in Tallahassee. So come see us at the all-new Craft Infinity, beyond your expectations, and brought to you by the Craft Brothers. Craft Infinity, 3355 Capitol Circle Northeast, conveniently located between Home Depot and the I-10 flyover. Call 297-1488 or visit us on the web at craftinfinity.com.
The Rolling Stones. No Filter. U.S. Tour 2019. April 24th, TIAA Bank Field. The world's greatest rock and roll band. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com, Veterans Memorial Arena box office, or by phone. 1-800-745-3000. The Stones.
Time now for the Tampa Bay Lightning Report, brought to you locally by Township of Tallahassee.
The Tampa Bay Lightning get set to take on the Buffalo Sabres tonight at Amalie Arena. Buffalo comes in having won 10 games in a row. Currently, they are in first place in the Atlantic Division. These two teams met back on November 13th. Buffalo defeated Tampa Bay 2-1. Tampa Bay is looking to go 4-1 on this 5-game homestand with a win tonight. The team did make a roster move yesterday. Goaltender Connor Ingram was called up from Syracuse. In 10 games with the Crunch, Ingram is 7-3, and he's won each of his past 6 starts. Now, because of that move, Eddie Pasquale has been reassigned to the Crunch. Also, Anton Strawman will continue to undergo treatment for his upper body injury and be reevaluated in a week. With your Lightning Report, I'm Greg Linnelli.
At Township in Collegetown, for the table, by the people is not just lip service, it's their mantra. Tallahassee's largest beer hall offers drafts served in steins plus a unique twist on upscale pub fare. Just walk up and order for the table and grab a seat by the people. Some you may not even know. If you're looking for a more intimate gathering, Township offers The Garden, a unique setting to Tallahassee complete with outdoor fireplace and a retractable awning. And let's not forget the 32 taps and a private bar. Book it for your next party or company event. Township Tallahassee, 619 Woodward Avenue in Collegetown.
Madison Social congratulates the women's soccer team on making it to the Final Four this weekend. Come catch the games at Madison Social.
The Donald L. Tucker Civic Center is awarding one lucky fan with tickets for an entire year with its Tickets to the Tuck giveaway, presented by POSS Medical Supplies. Grand prize is admission for 2 for every event at the Tuck in 2019. Go to tuckerciviccenter.com to enter. No purchase necessary. Good luck from the Tuck. See official rules for details.
Need help moving? 2 Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit 2men.com or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
This giving season, there's no better way to say happy holidays than with custom cards, calendars, and photo gifts from Vistaprint. And until December 2nd, you can get special Black Friday prices with 60% off all holiday cards and calendars at Vistaprint.com. Plus, save on other photo gifts. It's our best deal of the season. So get Black Friday prices with 60% off all holiday cards and calendars. Plus, save on other photo gifts at Vistaprint.com. Just enter promo code Radio60. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code Radio60.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Week 13 in the NFL starts with a big NFC matchup tonight in Texas. The 6-5 Cowboys hosting the 10-1 Saints. New Orleans clinches a playoff spot with a win tonight. Rams coach Sean McVay says today he expects cornerback Aqib Talib to play Sunday against the Lions. Talib has been out since week 4 with an ankle injury. Conference championship weekend in college football. In the SEC title game in Atlanta, it's number 1 Alabama and 4th-ranked Georgia. Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
When you're playing against a team who kind of runs things similar in a way as, how they run their defense, schematic-wise, I think it's definitely going to be tough. They're going to disguise their coverages. They're going to disguise their blitz. A lot of things are going to end up, playing factors into this game. But I think it's going to be a really exciting game. This is, like a rematch of the national championship all over. I think it's going to be fun, both sides of the ball. And we're looking forward to this new challenge that we're faced with.
Tua Tagovailoa on the Herb Street and Fitzsimmons podcast. Tennessee quarterback Will McBride announces on social media today that he'll transfer to another school. In 2 years with the Volunteers, McBride played in only 2 games. Those came last year during his freshman season. Tennessee was 5-7 this season. Purdue coach Jeff Brom turned down a chance to coach at Louisville, his alma mater. ESPN's Chris Lowe reports Brom will get a better deal from Purdue now, though. A salary bump of $1.2 million, up to $5 million a year, including bonuses and incentives.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least 4 today. Thanks for tuning to it. Happy Redemption Thursday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free, always. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you last night? Didn't it weird? It's weird to invest so much emotionally with a basketball team in a regular season game. But, it's a reminder that that's what happens when you have high expectations for a team.
I think the answer is probably an 8.5 to a 9.
It felt good, didn't it?
Real strong.
Well, partly because we stole it a little bit, and then the fight and the grit and the toughness, and you overcame a kid who was just going berserk from downtown, and I'm with you.
Well, my mindset was, all right, this is tough. Whoa, we're up 12 at the break. This is good. I'm chalking this up as long as we don't come out and look like a bunch of hashtag a-holes.
I don't do that. I don't chalk that
12
stuff
is
up.
a lot. I mean, if it was 6 or 8, maybe,
Yeah, basketball, so many runs in basketball. And it's a ranked team with a star player, so I wasn't going to do that.
I hear you. But you needed the other guy to go 7 to 10 from 3 in order for it to really, get tight to the point where now I'm resigned to losing the basketball game. And that's where I was. You get an and 1 with whatever it is, 3.5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go. And now I'm thinking there's no way we're going to win this basketball game. So, yes, to me it felt like we asserted ourselves, kind of let one slip away, and then stole one all in one night. So it's a very satisfying and exhausting 2.5 hours last night.
But rewarding because the victory is ours. Yet another ranked team falls here at the TLC Double C, and that in and of itself is very exciting.
Well, and not just because we're so good at home, but ever since Snare hit the 3 up at Coach K's court, I mean, think about us in end-of-game situations. Do we win them all? No. But we really have been super lucky and fortunate to watch a ton of final minute moments that went our way over the years. And it just started with Snare there. He had another 3 or 4 himself. Miller hit one.
You and I were watching the rim, if you will. And
sure.
Get that.
With the lead in that possession. If Purdue hits one coming back, maybe. But I just expect us to do that now.
The team's MO is that of real toughness. They're physically tough and they're mentally tough, and so that's just a charm, man. That's just a dream to root for, right? To watch a team who's got it, who's tough, who will continue to fight and give yourself a chance. They do it all the time. So it's cool to know that you got a team that plays a fun style of basketball. They're well coached. It's a deep, talented team that's only going to get better. One of your better players is not playing right. Top 20. Not been in this position
because we had to skip.
You got to win that game if you expect to have a good season. I have this weird feeling we're going to be more nervous about an opener. I wasn't nervous about Alabama because I spent all that time talking about us getting beat by Alabama and that it was going to happen. This is a game that will have me more nervous because you're certainly capable of losing to Boise State if you don't make vast improvements to where you're at currently. But I also know that if that happens, an already downtrodden, forlorn fan base and group of kids that are desperately seeking confidence.
Yeah, it depends on how you lose at that point,
yeah,
right?
It really does, yeah.
And it's their Super Bowl because they're Boise and we're a Power 5 team and they can play the chip on their shoulder card and all that nonsense. Yes.
Washington -5.5 against Utah. Stanford -3 against Cal. Memphis +3.5 against UCF. Fresno State +2.5 against Boise. Northwestern +14.5 against Ohio State. And in the NFL, Indianapolis -4 against Jacksonville. Atlanta -1.5 against Baltimore. The Bears -4 against the Giants. Seattle -10 against San Francisco. And a great, great football game tonight. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less. Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right, more watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
97.9 ESPN Radio congratulates the Chairs Eagles Pop Warner football team on making the Pop Warner Super Bowl. Set to start December 2nd at Disney's Wide World of Sports in Orlando. The Eagles could use your help. With on-field success comes expenses for travel and meals for additional games. If you can offer support, head to 97.9 ESPN Radio's Facebook page or check out at 979 ESPN Radio's pinned tweet, which includes a link to a GoFundMe campaign for the Eagles. Any help is greatly appreciated. And best of luck to the Chairs Eagles in Orlando.
College
College basketball is in full swing, and so is the fun and games at Pockets Pool and Pub. Follow your favorite team throughout the season on any of their 25 TVs. Enjoy game day drink specials featuring domestic pitchers for $9. Pockets has a full bar and locally brewed craft beers, the biggest wings in town, and a brand new menu. If you're looking for something different, visit Sharky's Lounge, the new non-smoking lounge next to Pockets. Pockets Pool and Pub, full bar, lots of TVs, and more. 2810 Share Road, or call them at 385-7665.
This is Golick and Wingo.
You can do it in the locker room, but you publicly made Hugh Jackson sound like a traitor by saying he wanted us to play for him and now he's coaching for Cincinnati. It's not how it worked. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yes.
The way you made it sound, you wanted to publicly make Hugh Jackson a traitor. You want to do that in the locker room? That's fine, man. Do your thing, whatever motivates you. But you publicly made that guy a traitor, and he's not.
Yeah.
He got fired for a team he was trying to coach, and he got a job somewhere else that happened to be in the division.
He didn't choose to leave.
No, he did not.
He was told to leave.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference between choosing to leave, a la Bobby Petrino halfway through the season for the Atlanta Falcons to go back to college football in Arkansas. That's choosing to leave.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson was told to leave.
Right.
There is a huge difference.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Almost every night when that moon gets so big and bright, it's super.
Song always makes me happy. And even though it's not a Christmas song, Tom, I feel like it's appropriate this time of year. This strikes you as a summer evening. No? You're feeling a little Christmassy?
No, I can see the winter. You know, I can hear like the old
around
transistor.
Around the punch bowl, everybody's at the party, but it's a low-key party.
But I can hear the transistor radio in the winter, and you see a fire crackling in the background.
Okay, yeah. It's a song for all seasons.
I guess that's where we have arrived at, yes.
Well, it made me think of Burl Ives. You're going to say, what in the world?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
That's the happiest damn man of all time. And I don't know if he was in real life. Burl Ives has been dead forever and a day. He died in 1995.
Who is Burl Ives?
The happy, it's a holly jolly Christmas.
Guy?
It's Burl Ives.
Oh.
He's the snowman in the.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Isn't he the? He's the snowman. He did Holly Jolly Christmas. He had a lot of hits back in the day, but he was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the one that plays every year this time of year. The one
Jingle Bell Rock too.
Stop. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew who that voice was.
He's great. He also sang The Wayfaring Stranger.
Oh, yeah, did he?
I know way too much about Burl Ives, but he's always struck me as the happiest dude. And his character is him. I feel like that has to be true. I also thought for sure that he was born elsewhere, like in another country, but he was born in Illinois.
I mean, it depends on what part of Illinois.
But anyhow, so Burl Ives is a happy guy, and it makes me happy, and that song makes me happy. You know what else makes me happy? Winning basketball games in dramatic fashion. Here's Leonard Hamilton talking about it last night after the game.
Not having a guy like Phil on the court who's a tremendous perimeter shooter and a guy who allows us to switch 1 through 5. We can play him at the 3, the 4, the 5. It challenges us, but it's given some of the other youngsters some opportunity to grow and develop. Raquan Gray, he's showing promise. Vassell's showing promise. Even though when I look at Anthony Polite, he doesn't have great stats, but I thought his effort and his defense was important, and the residual effect of quality of depth like that fatigues people, and you never know exactly how much that means to you down the stretch in the game when those guys are going in and really, really playing with tremendous amount of effort. They might not have great stats, but their contribution is valuable to you. This way, their effort, running the floor, fighting hard, communicating, those things are important to us. Now, as those guys gain more experience, David Nichols, he was huge tonight. His defense was good. He took charge when he went into the game. He moved the ball. He gave us great leadership, and he's growing up. So we still are in the development mode. I just hope we continue to keep growing, keep winning while we're still growing and developing. I think we got a long ways to go offensively and defensively. We're still not quite where we need to be.
You know, that's the exciting part, isn't it? It's that they can be better. And, Leonard says that some of that's motivation for his team. They will be better when they get Phil Kofor back, because he can guard all 5 positions, like he said. That's huge. By the way, that audio is from warchant.com. Wanted to note here that he says that about the defense. Well, he actually, we have another clip, don't we? Here, this is more of Leonard Hamilton, and then I'll comment on both of the sound bites here.
Through 7 games, is there anything that surprised you about this team, Coach?
I'm surprised that our defense is not a little better, to be very honest with you. And as much as we worked on our offense, for instance, the first half, I thought we moved the ball very, very well. I think we had something like maybe 125, 30 passes that we made. We were able to move the ball. The second half, we came back out. I thought the ball stuck a little bit, not from a selfish standpoint. We just didn't seem to have that same pop, that same movement. And against really good basketball teams, what's going to happen is what happened tonight. You got to be consistent with that. And I'm a little disappointed about that. And, right now it's not even – I can't start trying to evaluate where we are, because I realistically, I just know we're still a work in progress. We just got hope. We're just thankful that we continue to keep winning when we're still trying to bring it together. I'm still trying to figure out my rotation.
Tell you what I like about this, though. He is, very talkative because he clearly likes his team. And he's comfortable with everything they're doing. Even, the stuff about the rotation and the defensive lapses, he feels good about who this team is. And I think he has very, very, very high expectations about where they can go. That's the only way you would criticize some of the things that he does with his team currently. Purdue has a top 10 offense in the country. That's statistically true, and it's true just going on what they've been these last few years. They're currently ranked number 6 in the nation offensively. You can look at advanced stats. You can look at anything you want. They score. They're really, really good. And Florida State was the first team this season to hold them below a point per possession. First team this season to do that. You're going to complain about the defense. So that's a good sign, right? They're not playing nearly as well on the defensive end as he'd like, and yet they just did something against an elite offensive team that nobody's done this year.
Well, I think they're in a place where he's not afraid about making the tournament. He knows they're going to make the tournament, so now it's about
yes, you're right.
What are we when we make the tournament?
How good can we be?
Right. Now, there's a couple of layers to this, because last night he did shrink the bench, especially when it got to winning time. If you look at the minutes disparity, it's nothing like it was when we were playing in the Advocare against LSU or Villanova. But at the same time, the minutes he's giving are big-time minutes, not just, 2 fouls, I need somebody on the court. Raekwon Gray is on the court down the stretch in this game.
Critical moments, yes.
And then obviously we're struggling in the first half a little bit. We pull away, but Nichols is on the court as we decide to take the game over. And his jump shot, he looks a little bit more comfortable in his skin, doesn't he?
He looks really comfortable, and he can really shoot. He just hadn't shot. I mean, he hadn't shot yet, but that's what he was known for at his previous stop. I mean, he's a shooter. I like that Leonard brought up the fact that it's hard to adjust when you come to a new conference and run a new system, and that basically he's not doing a Krzyzewski here and imploring the fans to have patience. He's just noting, well, we got to have patience. Kids learning a new offense.
Well, and he doesn't know who his rotation is, as he says. That's 100% true. There are times, so he said at the end of the first clip that we're nowhere close to where we need to be or something along those lines. He says that every year, every single year. It was kind of like the punchline of preseason where it's like, we're going to play with more pace, and everybody laughed until it happened. But I think in this case, he's absolutely right, and he's speaking the truth that they're nowhere close. And what these minutes are for guys like Polite or Devin Vassell in the first half, who makes a big-time 3 from the corner, or the aforementioned Raekwon Gray, this is helping the program years from now.
Yes.
And what's really cool about this situation that's tough, I think, for fans, and even me in the stands last night, is we're down by 5, and they're going to the line, and it looks like we're in trouble losing this game. Ham's not worried about not making the tournament. He's worried about developing this thing so it peaks at the right time.
The engine, baby.
But we see a top 20 matchup on a Wednesday night.
And you want to win.
And we don't care what month it is. We don't care that it's November. We care just like it's a tournament game. But that's not the way he has to look at this thing. He's looking at it for the long term.
Well, remember, you've now played back-to-back-to-back top 20 teams. You've played a really brutal schedule. It's a top 25 schedule right now in the country. So last year, while he was figuring everything out, we were playing a non-conference schedule that ranked in the 300s. This is a great test for a veteran team that has a chance to be very good, and they have survived it to the tune of 7-1. So, look, this is a team that has a chance, and he knows it. It's why he's so frank about expectations, like you're describing. It's why he's doing what he's doing currently without necessarily putting an emphasis on winning a singular game. It's because it's a team he knows can go deep. Yeah. The problem is, look, tournaments are fickle. Virginia was the 1 seed and lost to a 16 seed. Weird things happen, so you can't know that, but you just have to, as a coach, you do this all the time. You have to put your team in the best position to succeed. He's trying to figure out what that is.
Well, and in talking about it, I'd bet he'd go one step further and say, you're looking too far ahead. I want to know who I have for ACC play.
Exactly. No. Because I look big picture because, like you said, I think it's a tournament team without question. So, you
could run into trouble. Like, you could lose to UConn a week from Saturday. St. Louis could rise up and get you. I don't think so, but these things could happen. And then obviously you start 0-3 in conference when you play Virginia, Miami, and Duke. I'm not saying these things are going to happen, but they could. And then now you're in a dogfight for your tournament life. At that point, you've spent the equity of the non-conference season and you're on even footing. And now you got to win more than you lose.
They do that a lot.
They do.
They did that last year.
Yes, they did. You had to beat BC, and it was a winner-take-all type game for Florida State.
Good thing they did.
Good thing they did, because once they got there, they did the right things. But it's hard because I think, again, that there's a couple of layers to it. Last night, he's going for the win with his veterans, but the way he drew it up initially was not to approach the game like he did.
Like that way, yeah.
And he's got to be thinking, so for about 10 minutes last night, he thought, all right, I need to go with my guys here to go get this one.
Let's go on and get this thing.
We had it up 12 at the half, and I thought I'd be able to spread some minutes around. The next thing you know, we're down 8, which was crazy.
People hit threes, man, and they hit a lot of them. 7 of 8 to start the second half.
Yeah.
And when that happened,
They hit one from like Osceola's ear.
But I was chuckling because, and I think you tweeted it last night if I remember looking at my phone at the right time. I think, we defeated the ghost of Scott Wood. Yeah, sometimes that happens, and guys just start hitting shots from the parking lot, and people get mad. They're like, "Well, this is ridiculous." No, they're good. That's a really good team, and they're hitting shots, and the kids started feeling it. And I'm going, "Well, we got a problem on our hands."
Well, and the problem too is obviously, as we've talked about today ad nauseum, but it's block, charge, block, all that stuff, and so you're going to call a shuffle step on us, and yet you have a kid defending another kid in the post, and he turns around 180. As he's turning around, he gets hit, and you're going to call a charge there. Okay, so this is what we're going to go through. And that exacerbates and pisses off the fans and the students even more. They're yelling BS over the broadcast. Yes.
Well, everybody's got to take a deep breath. Basketball officiating is brutal, but by definition, it's in every league. It's not the ACC like it is in football. I think there's a distinct difference in officiating with the football referees in this conference opposed to other conferences, and not in the good.
Well, whereas, they bounce around in the NCAA first of all.
But I mean, people will be, "Oh, ACC is that?" No. I don't think so. First of all, we weren't playing Duke last night, so.
Well, and you could look back and Teddy Valentine. Teddy just loves Teddy some Teddy.
That's
loves what's going on.
Teddy. Teddy wants to be the star of the show,
and the crew. I think it bled over to the crew a little bit last night as well. But Teddy was the one that gave us a big call and turned his back on the kid from North Carolina last year. So it's not, he doesn't hate us.
No,
there may be some other guys over the years that you could.
There have been a couple, but here's the thing I'll say about it. Again, basketball officiating, man. I sometimes think they make it up. I mean, I just think they're making it up. It's like spotting a football. You're like, really? You think that's where it was? I guess.
Well,
I mean, you don't know.
If you're a Purdue fan and think about that, the inbound play, the kid dribbles it near the half court line. I mean, it looks like PJ Savoy runs his ass over, and I thought that was a foul all the way. I thought they might have initially called a foul there, and yet they wave it off, and then they go to the monitor to see whose possession it is. It ends up being Purdue. This is before we get the held ball.
Yeah.
But if I'm a Purdue fan, I'm looking at that situation.
What
I'm
are
saying,
we doing?
So you're just allowed to truck people.
Yeah.
You're allowed to ambush my guy.
Well, this is why, Tom, when you and I have the greater discussion over the years where I've disagreed with you about the end-of-game scenarios, because it's arbitrary throughout the game, I think you can make decisions not to call borderline things at the end of a game.
I'll tell you what, I have a theory. If Trent Forrest does not make the shot last night, I think they blow the whistle because that's 100% a foul in the lane. The kid's not set. They switched. I mean, he's at a 45-degree angle of Trent, and they bump. The kid goes flying towards the baseline, and it certainly can't be a charge.
No.
I think if that goes off the back iron and comes out for a board,
He's going to blow the whistle.
They do that crap all the time.
But that's a problem because it's either a foul or it's not.
And it was. That's an and one all the way.
But there's another example of where I say it's arbitrary, and I do believe so because they do that. I believe you should especially do that at the end of games. Let people decide. I'm glad they didn't blow the whistle there. Let's play ball. If it's your shooting arm, you got to call that. Body to body, we're grown-ass men out here. Let's go. We're playing ball. I got it. But I also understand what you're saying. If that's 7 minutes into the game, they're blowing the whistle every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Well, if it's 7 minutes into the second half, when they decided everything that the teal team was doing is a foul.
Yeah. But I laugh at basketball officiating because I think, by the way, I don't envy those guys. It's really hard. The block charge call is the most difficult call in basketball, in sport.
But Teddy he's in his own league. I mean, he's rubbing down the basketball with a towel last night. He's just rubbing it, caressing it, while Kumaji's waiting for his second free throw. What the hell are you doing?
My fan.
He's trying to make a statement because Kumaji touches the bottom of his shoes. He's like, you're greasing up the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, man. But, that doesn't take like 12 seconds to rub down every orifice of the ball.
Yes, he was making love to that
He
basketball.
was making, and he did it again.
I know.
On the other side. He's like, man, people are getting mad at me for this. Maybe I should do it some more to get some more attention.
Yes, of course.
Jesus.
I love it. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. A lot of you have been asking about the status of the bowling tournament that we do in December. As we've been doing it how many years now? Good Lord, I've been doing it for something like 15, maybe more years. And the problem is, they tore down our bowling alley, so that's a bit of an issue. And I promise you, an announcement will be made soon enough, early next week. So we'll figure it out. We're going to go bowling somewhere, people. We got to get it figured out. I also am going to announce something tomorrow that is really good. And listen, it's that time of year, and this is where it warms my heart. The community does. And it's also great to have what they call the bully pulpit here to direct efforts of kind people because they'll listen and they do really kind things, and that's awesome once we get the word out. But we're going to be collecting coats, and I'll explain that. I'll explain that more tomorrow. But there's some people who could use it.
I really don't want to overwhelm people or, water down what you're talking about. But since we are talking about charitable efforts, again, if you take a look at @979 on ESPN Radio, our Twitter feed, and the pinned tweet at the top, they're raising funds for the Chairs Eagles that are playing down in Orlando for a National Pop Warner Championship. And the results so far haven't been so great. So, if you could help, I mean, it's over $1,000, but you're trying to transport a lot of kids, meals, all that stuff. And you know it from travel with your kids, or if you did opt to do so more seriously. The more they win, then you got to go back and spend more than your budget had. So it's just, if you feel so compelled, if this strikes you in a certain way, I already have, maybe you will too.
Yeah, it's on the website.
It's
and
a GoFundMe.
It's a GoFundMe page for the Chairs. Was it
Chairs Eagles Pop Warner football team?
Go do it. Every little bit helps. So it's easy. I mean, you don't have to give huge dollars. Give $5, whatever you got. But it's that time of year, and we like to do it year round, and we do. But there's stuff that will come up here in the next week or so. So stay in tune, and we'll let you know where you got to go to drop off food or to drop off clothing or drop off whatever efforts we're going with here. And for varying groups, too. We like to, add a little spice, a little variety to who we're helping. There's a lot of people out there, great causes.
The best part of the job.
By far and away.
That and allowing other people to be distracted from their lives while we're distracted from ours, too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we got a great game tonight. I mean, I am so pumped for this game. I really think Dallas is going to give the Saints a run for their money tonight. I think it's they have the recipe to win the game.
Okay, ball control with Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, that's the whole game. That's the only team that's going to beat the Saints is a team that can line up and run the damn ball. The problem is, Tom, and I don't know if you know this, but I've been talking a little bit post-Bucs opening day game against the Saints about week in and week out how much better they've gotten across the board. So we know about their offensive numbers. But I bet you didn't know this. The Saints defense has not given up a 100-yard rusher since week 11, 2017. They are really good against the run. The Cowboys' formula for this turnaround and effort to win the East is run the ball. Take it out of Dak's hand and give it to Ezekiel Elliott. By the way, when Zeke runs, Dak's good. When Zeke doesn't run, Dak's terrible. So it's not Dak, it's Zeke.
Yeah, 100%, and it always has been because that opened up things for Jason Witten and Des Bryant even in his rookie season. But the thing about tonight that's interesting is, of course, that's going to be the story of the game is whether or not Dallas can run the football.
Run the ball, keep it out of Drew Brees' hand.
But it's also a fact-finding mission about Amari Cooper. And the cool thing about this Thursday night game is both teams played last week on Thursday. So this is not going to be a contrived short week piece of garbage football game.
Perfectly said, because I was going to celebrate something the NFL made a decision on for the first time maybe ever. They have figured out now that that's what you want to do. I was reading an article. They're going to do that from now on. Teams that play on Thanksgiving are going to play the following Thursday so they get their normal rest. Bravo. Yeah. How about that? The NFL made a decision that was right. That's a miracle. Good. Good on you.
There's also a killer hockey game tonight. So,
just saying,
we got a bit of a doubleheader in the Lang House.
Well, you got a really good NBA game. I know you don't care about that, but you got Golden State and Toronto. That's a war. That's a great game. So you got a lot of good games.
I know everybody has, but should we get the Kawhi Leonard laugh for the board? Have you heard it?
I have heard it, and everybody uses it.
Everybody uses
it. I don't know. I've got some clips I want you to use. We got to get back to our clips. We got to get back to our roots. We got to get back to our roots. We haven't used That's Not What You Do in a long time, and we haven't used a lot of things in a while. We've fallen out of favor with it. We'll have a different page. I know how you love we add pages.
We have like 19 of them now.
I know. So the Saints, I mentioned that defense doesn't give up 100-yard rushers. Well, this is what Dallas does now. They have figured out that you got to give the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. But here's the other part of it. Saints not only don't give it up on the ground, teams, and this is a more important stat, I think, because a lot of teams get down to the Saints quickly, so they stop running, and people will say, well, that's goes a long way in keeping people under 100 yards.
Management,
you're up 35-0. They aren't running, So I got you. But they only give up 3.2 yards per carry. That's the best in the league. They're not fooling around.
Yeah, it's their front, and it's also Klein, man. That guy, if you're talking about a stretch of a couple of years, remember way back when the opening Monday Night Football game last year when it was Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings against New Orleans Saints. And Klein single-handedly prevented Dalvin Cook from going for 200 yards. I mean, he was finding holes. He had the burst he had here at Florida State. And that dude was a man on a freaking mission. It was something to behold. So they have good linebacker play, but the front has been the thing that's improved so very much over the last year.
Well, and I want to note that, and by the way, the hockey game you're talking about is Tampa Bay and Florida?
Tampa Bay and Buffalo.
Oh, that's Saturday is Tampa Bay and Florida.
Yeah.
Saturday,
Tampa Bay, Buffalo tonight.
Buffalo, Buffalo who beat us recently.
Yes.
They've been on a winning streak.
I got a good feeling about tonight.
Well, folks, run to your local bookie because Tom just laid it out there. That's going to be a Big Daddy J wager to close the show. I'm just going to give it away then. I'm going with Tom's hunch on this one. Big Daddy will steal a pick now. Big Daddy's not afraid. Information is information. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's what we're doing here. By the way, so I wanted to bring up some of those crazy numbers in the NFL. Statistically, you look at offensive touchdowns and completion percentage and how quarterback rating is now somewhat obsolete. You got 11 different quarterbacks in the league currently have a QBR of over 100.
Rating, just regular rating, because the QBR from ESPN goes to 100.
Well, you're right. The
traditional quarterback rating,
158.3.
Yes.
So a traditional quarterback rating of over 100. I think the stat yesterday was 2 years ago. One person had that for the year. It's now everybody basically. So here you go. And it's not like he doesn't need the help. It's not like he needs the help. But the NFL has set up the rules so that quarterbacks are helped. Drew Brees is completing 76% of his passes on the season. What are we doing? On the season. That's for all the games. Yeah. 76% of his passes.
Well, what they've done, though, and it's the Kamara pick that changed everything about them. I know Michael Thomas, especially, I think it was through the first 7 or 8 games, it was like 90% of the attempts were completed to Michael Thomas alone, which is, that's a staggering
he was
number.
Breaking all the records,
But it was, I remember when the movement started, they said, all right, so they're so disappointed they lost Darren Sproles to Philly. But this Kamara guy they really like Kamara. He's changed everything about them because he's like Christian McCaffrey in terms of his value.
Catches the ball in the backfield,
Catches the ball in the
does
backfield.
Yeah,
but he was a really good tailback for the first few games of the year when Mark Ingram was not available. So they have 2 different kinds of backs, one of which is essentially a Wes Welker / Darren Sproles hybrid. And then you've got receivers galore as well with Michael Thomas and the speed that they have to honor over the top. And then you combine that, obviously, with Drew Brees' Hall of Fame talent that unfortunately got largely overlooked for his career because of the time he played and his colleagues or contemporaries. But he's getting all of the attention in the world now, and rightly so.
His quarterback rating is 127.3 for the season. He's completing 76.4% of his passes. He's thrown for 3,100 yards already. He has 29 touchdowns and 2 picks. 2. And one was a fluke.
I have a feeling that Drew, if he continues this, let's say, for another 2 or 3 years, he's going to get the Hank Aaron treatment of football. It's like nobody's going to look at him in a single season and say, this guy is one of the greats.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go. You can't deny him. He's getting to that point where you can't deny a place at the table. It was only Manning and Brady, and now it's only Brady and Rodgers until Drew Brees. He's saying, damn it, what do I have to do to be on that level to where I'm in every conversation when it starts?
Well, the career stats are doing just that. He is now second all-time in touchdown passes.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to rack up the raw numbers.
What are we doing here?
And he's going to do it for so damn long with a bunch of different skill set guys. I mean, we look at their situation. You say that they've got a lot of skill over the course of his life in New Orleans, looking compared to, say, Tom Brady. But, I mean, he doesn't always have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. They didn't have a running game forever.
Colson was a good player.
Jimmy Graham was a good player.
Yeah.
But look at what Jimmy Graham's done since anywhere else.
Well, yeah.
He's been above average, but not
great.
Elite.
He's doing nothing in Green Bay, I can tell you that.
Yeah, Colston was really good.
Colston was good, yeah. One thing to say here quickly is that Drew Brees is doing all this at 5'11". He's also the answer to the question, what if? Because we sit around every weekend and watch Alabama dismantle the world, and we go, good God, will that man ever leave so that we can all play? We would like a turn at the table. But Nick Saban isn't going anywhere. He's very happy, contented, if you will, at Alabama. Had Drew Brees said yes to Miami, perhaps Nick Saban would be with the Dolphins, and we wouldn't be doing this.
Or had the doctors, as he would put it, had the doctors given him such clearance that they would have said, yes, we're going to take him over Dante Culpepper.
Let's just think about that. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you probably do think about that a lot.
Yes, you would have had a decade of wars between Belichick, Brady, and Saban Brees.
We all would have been better off for it, and Saban wouldn't have been in college. And we could all play the game.
Urban Meyer would have like 4 more. Probably.
Maybe if he hadn't burned out already again. I don't know. Good God, it's annoying. I think about all the convergent paths that could have happened that could lead him away from Alabama. This is my thought process on a regular basis now. Would maybe he go to Green Bay? He wants another try in the NFL? He's got Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy's going to get fired at the end of this year. That's a certainty.
Oh, it has to be.
Oh, no, it's done. And there's a great article about the Packers today at SI. Did you read it?
No, I did not.
It's worth your time, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a cool dynamic between play caller and quarterback, and we love these kinds of conversations.
Yes, we do.
Well, so McCarthy's an alpha male, so is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is really, really smart. McCarthy is the play caller, but Rodgers is intelligent enough that he's been entrusted with calling plays that override McCarthy's when he wants to, whenever he wants to, right? Well, that's never going to end well. I mean, you got ego, and when things go bad, somebody gets blamed, and that somebody right now is the head coach. Well, the head coach doesn't like being blamed when he's saying secretly, I'm not calling these plays. I called this play, but Boy Wonder over here decided to trump me, and now you're going to yell at me. But that's the role you are in. You have to do that.
Sure.
And, that's the way it works. But so Rodgers is kind of improvisational and really good at it, always has been. But this year they're losing a lot of games. Well, now people are asking McCarthy, what the hell? And McCarthy is seething because Aaron Rodgers is overriding his play calls.
I look forward to reading that. 2 notes. One is to footnote the Saban what-if thing. The answer is Les Miles would have won a few more. Think about the rematches and the balance of power in the SEC West. Les Miles would be in the College Football Hall of Fame because
instead of coaching Kansas?
I know. He would have won 3 or 4 now at LSU.
By the way, so that's great. I love Les's at Kansas. I actually don't think that's a terrible hire for Kansas. But I will say this. I continue to really enjoy what's going on in North Carolina. Mac Brown hired Greg Robinson today. Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Do you know who Greg Robinson is? You probably remember him playing football back in the 60s and early
6th man of the year on the Pistons.
Greg Robinson was at Syracuse, and it was in USC briefly. He's 68 years old. By the way, so is Mac Brown. And those two are like, yeah.
That stuff's garbage.
If you're North Carolina, you're like, oh, if you're a fan of UNC, what are we doing here?
You see Jameis's numbers rolling out to his right this year, outside the pocket to the right?
Well, they're probably excellent.
Yes, it is a perfect 158.3 quarterback rating. That's always been a strength of his.
Just something to note as we tidy up the conversation and sign off here in the next segment. Jameis last week played his best game as a pro, in my opinion. I think for all the reasons that don't show up on a stat sheet. He didn't throw any interceptions, so that's a starting point. But it was more about when to check down, because he's never checked down in his life, and he just did a lot last week. When to run, but also not get hit. So running's not good, but running is good if it's in lieu of throwing picks.
Now, this is funny because for all the arguing we did last year on the Scuttlebucks and that we do from time to time about just what is Jameis, which is a great question.
It is. It's a fun debate.
There are a few candidates in that realm of best game
he's had
ever
some
played.
games. That Buffalo game was incredible.
The Buffalo game, the Monday night Atlanta game last year.
Yeah.
That we found a way
he torches
to lose.
Atlanta. He
Oh,
torches
my
Atlanta.
God.
They're not. The Atlanta announcers are hilarious. Whenever the Bucs play the Falcons, folks, go listen to the Atlanta announcers.
That's Hugh Durham or West Durham.
Yeah, West Durham.
Yeah.
They talk about Jameis like he's Joe Montana because to them he is. His numbers against the Falcons. Now they beat the Bucs because the Bucs suck, but it's forever.
They outscore us, is what they do.
Well, and it's always funny because they're like, well, there's another great throw from Jameis Winston. What else is new? He's playing the Falcons. I mean, they get pissed. That's how they say it. They're like, well, look at that throw. Well, hadn't seen that all year. Must be the game against the Bucs. It's just like they get so mad. They're tired of it.
But if he rolls out, because Aaron Rodgers, the reason I thought of
Yes.
that is because you were talking about Rodgers, McCarthy, and I think it was last year. It was Jameis was second in the game.
Only to Rodgers in quarterback rating out of the pocket.
Well, he can't be second if it's a perfect 158.3.
Well, I just want him to keep doing what he did last week, and they don't get to play San Francisco every week. But again, checking down when you can check down. Don't force throws. Get down. Don't get hit. All that stuff. Brilliant. Perfect. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Holiday season, just a reminder, it's a great gift idea. I mean that, by the way, because it's practical and it's good for you. So you get yourself a pillow, MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code 979ESPN. By the way, the reason that's a big deal is you get that second one for free when you do that. So you get a buy one, get one, 10-year warranty. You can wash it, dry it, all that stuff. Never loses its shape. And that study that shows you get more restorative sleep, fall asleep faster, kind of helps eliminate some snoring, all that stuff is true. But, again, it's a gift time of year. Get somebody something practical. Buy one, get one. Go to MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com. Click on the buy one, get one free special and enter the promo code 979ESPN. So a lot of great action tonight. We got action on the hardwood, which maybe you flip back and forth through with the NBA, but in truth, you're going to be looking at tonight's football game with Dallas and New Orleans, and you got the game tonight that Big Daddy's betting on. Here we go. Cue it up.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Yeah, tonight Tampa Bay giving a goal and a half against Buffalo, who's been riding a hell of a run here. Rather improbably when you look on shots on goal, but they're finding a way.
High percentage chances favor the opponent when the opponent plays Buffalo. Now, they've got a couple of guys to watch in case you do care to actually catch this game, one of which is Jeff Skinner, a lightning killer. So that's the guy to watch tonight, Jeff Skinner.
Screw him.
But high percentage chances in the slot. If Tampa converts on a fair amount of them, this could be a blowout. We shall see.
Crank it, Big Daddy's in on it. We're giving a goal and a half, and we're up +3 on the season. Make it happen. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night.